Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Peabody and the East Coast Philharmonic, joined by retired filmmaker George Lucas and the cast of The George Lucas Talk Show.
Will be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show.
Each time that we log into this august and famous Twitch channel.
We're starting out from scratch after our UCB and Arliss shows.
You're already acquainted with the white slaver they call WATTO.
You're already acquainted with the white slaver they call WATTO. You're already acquainted with the white slaver they call WATTO. You're already acquainted with the white slaver that they all call WATTO. Yes, it's hard to be producing when you're always taking naps and snacks. A freezer full of sausages, a beer that's growing down my back.
But
Still, when we log into this august and famous Twitch channel, we'll be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show.
But still, when we log into this august and famous Twitch channel, we'll be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show.
I made Star Wars and Indiana Jones and also THX, Red Tails and Strange Magic, and Howard the Duck always having sex. So if you like the stuff I make and want to see a little more, please tweet at Disney Plus to tell them to release Star Wars Detours.
Please tweet at Disney Plus to tell them to release Star Wars Detours.
Please tweet at Disney Plus to tell them to release Star Wars Detours.
Please tweet at Disney Plus or I will release a Google Drive that has some of the episodes in a semi-finished state.
WATTO, that wasn't the same thing we said.
Please tweet at Disney Plus to tell them to release the show Star Wars Detours. Today we're watching season 1 of Studio 60 Sunset Strip. We skipped some words in the title because they simply did not fit. But still, when we log into this august and famous Twitch channel, we'll be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show.
But still, when we log into this august and famous Twitch channel, we'll be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show. But still, when we log into this august and famous Twitch channel, we'll be the very model of a modern COVID live stream show.
Talk about a little twist.
Okay, let's start this show.
Please welcome retired filmmaker George Lucas.
That people still talk about that, and I think that the final scene of that episode, I've watched that so many times.
Hey George,
Yeah.
George, I'm just gonna hop in really quick. I guess there's a StreamYard issue,
Yes.
so they can't see us right now. So Bryson's gonna send us a new link, and we're gonna go in there.
All right.
So hang on 1 second.
So we're gonna leave
Wait,
this.
maybe they can see us now. Can they see us now?
They see us now. So are they just seeing us now with none of that broadcast?
They see us now. Let's restart this episode and let's chat again. I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's
Back to one.
back to one.
Back to
Guys,
one.
we have director of the 4 a.m. Miracle, Laura Ennis here.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well. How was your Sunday going, Laura?
It was very, very nice. I actually watched Christine Lottie this morning with you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very charming.
yes.
So yeah.
Great.
All right, let's press play on this.
All right,
so
we're
people
going
can
back.
We will go in 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry about that. George, why don't you, you were talking about the David Krumholtz oral history. I feel like people would like to hear about that.
Yeah. I obviously had seen you. I was familiar with you as an actor because my buddy Steve was one of the producers of ER.
Oh wow.
So I was familiar with it, and but then I noticed that your name would pop up as director, and the episode "Be Still My Heart," which I do want to encourage people to revisit, to watch the whole series to get up to this point. But the ending sequence of that episode, the choices that you make in terms of the pacing of it, the shots, the way that you choose to reveal one piece after another in a relatively, I'm talking about a 2-minute clip at the end of this scene, probably less than that, are so stunning. The choices that you make are, because it's a horrifying scene. I don't even want to spoil what happens in the scene.
Yeah.
But it is, I've never seen another scene quite like it.
Oh wow. Thank you so much.
It's really striking. And very upsetting, obviously.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting because I really had very little directing experience at that point. And we had a director, one of our producing directors, Jonathan Kaplan, was on the show. So I said, I want to do this thing at the end, and I'm not sure if it works. And so I kind of showed him the sequence, and something very violent happens. And he said, well, when do you see that part? And I said, well, you don't really see it. You see, the aftermath. And so Jonathan was like, that's great, go for it. I mean, if you know Jonathan Kaplan, you probably do. He's just like an astonishing guy. So he really helped me have confidence in kind of what was in my brain because of my lack of experience. I just was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's in my head. Thank you, though.
It's just such great storytelling because there's so many scenes that are like that in terms of the basic information that's conveyed, but the way that you convey it and the way that the music is used. Is
Hey, George.
Yes.
George, I'm going to ask Laura, can you refresh your page? I think there's an echo. And just come back in. It'll be fine. But I just
Okay, bye.
We'll see you in a minute.
Oh, leaves.
Okay, here's the joke I'm going to make while Laura is refreshing. When they asked her why she wanted to make the choices that she had in her head as a director for that episode, her explanation should have been, because that's the way the cookie crumb holds.
That's a great joke.
It's still there, but we're okay.
Okay. All right.
Watto, do you want to make that joke again, Watto?
No, I think one time is good. Unless you want to hear it, Laura.
I do.
Okay, so you were talking about defending, not defending, but making the argument for your instincts as a director in the story choices of that episode. You should have used as a coverall answer, that's the way the cookie crumb holds.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Just the way the cookie crumb holds.
But by the time you get to the 4 a.m. Miracle on Studio 60, you are essentially a veteran director. You know how to tell a story visually. You know how to come into a show, and you know the language from The West Wing of like the way that these stories like to be told. There's so much dynamic camera work. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience when you came on to direct this episode, like what it was like?
Yeah, I had heard about Studio 60. Everyone was talking about it. And, it was rough because, as everyone knows, it was supposed to just fly like a rocket, and it struggled. So by the time we got to 116, it was a little bit of like lifting the spirits back up. And because I know Brad so well, I guess, and I knew Tim, so I knew some of the people quite well. And I remember just feeling like, okay, let's just forget about the expectation and make the show. And I really liked the script, and I loved all the stuff with Tim and all the stuff with the mechanical baby with Amanda. And it was really fun and exciting and new to me to do sort of the story within the story with Sarah, you know, doing the movie in the middle of this episode. So yeah, it just was a matter of getting that script, which was wonderful, but getting it late, which really happened often. And then you just kill yourself prepping in a very short amount of time and walking it and reaching out to the actors. And so it was fun. It was hard though. It was hard. There's a lot of elements in the show, especially the movie within the movie. And then like the mechanical doll took like a weird amount of time and like trying to make that work. So it was fun, and it was interesting to work with people that I never worked with before, like Sarah, who I never worked with before. And she's one of those people that you just see and you feel like that person's a star. She just has that quality for me. And she was super funny and prepared and flirty and dirty and just like this great fun energy. And Matthew was great. You know, a couple of people had said, be careful. And he was awesome. So I loved it. And Merritt Weaver, that was the first time I'd seen her. And she was incredible. So yeah, I just loved it.
Merritt Weaver, I feel like, is one of the unsung heroes on this show, because everyone knows she's great now, but I feel like at the time this was like really early in the career for her. And I think, George, you and I just watched this show again over the last 2 weeks. I think she's really good in this show.
Yeah.
And you want to see what she would have done in future seasons, because it felt like she could have kept being his assistant, but it also, you could see her becoming a producer on the show or like working in that production world. And I feel like that would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love watching her because she's one of those actors that is completely credible all the time. Just like the timbre of her voice and her manner is so truthful that you're just engaged with her. She's never amplifying anything. Yeah. And I loved the kind of feeling, and it wasn't overstated, that she has maybe a little crush on, you know, Matthew. And so that those little pieces were really nice. And I was like, wow, who's this girl? She's going to have a good career.
And now no, go ahead, Wada.
No, I'm just curious because, I mean, you were describing how by the point you came in on this episode, the show had settled into like a very different space after the outsized expectations before the premiere. And you've directed so many different series in so many different places, like something like ER, you obviously knew so intimately by the time you moved behind the director's chair. But things like How Do I Get Away with Murder, or Grey's Anatomy, or West Wing, even, where those shows were huge hits. And by the time you're directing, there's sort of like a solidified idea of what it is. Do you have a preference for coming in as a director for a show like that, where it's sort of like, you know, it's found its place and you can figure out how to riff within that? Or is there a freedom to something like coming in late on Studio 60, where there's not as solid of a template?
Yeah, I think there was somewhat of an advantage to Studio 60 because, I mean, with West Wing, you were like, everyone's going to see this. It better be good. With Studio 60, there wasn't that pressure. So there was a certain level of freedom and trying things and looseness, you know, by episode 16. So that was definitely an advantage. To me, I think it's better to come in very early, either year 1, year 2, maybe year 3 if the show is really well run. I think that middle section gets very tough for everybody. It's very hard to keep that going and keep story going, as you know. But yeah, it's always funnest to come, like with West Wing. I came on maybe it was year 1. So it was still, but it was later in the season. So it had been really established and people really loved it, but it wasn't like anybody was, you know, sick of any aspect of it. It was just like flying high, you know. But when you go into a show that you go into the later seasons, or a show even where there's a lot of discord or some discord, it's really tough to like pull that up the mountain.
Yeah.
Now, Laura, people are gonna kill us if we don't show the dog.
They want to see the dog.
People want to see the dog.
They hear the dog and they want to see it.
Where is
Come on. Oh, that's a good dog.
Where'd he go? Bacon, come here. There's a good puppy.
That's a good dog.
Is that a good dog? I'll be right back. I gotta let him out.
Yeah. All right. Guys, I really love doing these watch-alongs because I genuinely think they turn into great oral histories of shows that don't get oral histories.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I like you never hear these other kinds of perspectives on the show. Laura, do you like doing walk and talks or do you hate them?
I love them. I think they're great. And I think it's a really good model for series television because it's a way to make up time during your day.
Yeah.
So very much plan ahead. And on ER and West Wing, like those shows, they were so good at it that you could do anything and they would make it work. And you could use any different kind of slight movement, or if you were stuck, one of the cast members, they were so eager to make it work and to work in concert with a camera operator and the boom operator. So it's super fun. I love them. I love doing them. And it's a challenge because you have to keep doing them till the actors are so sick of it and they say, I couldn't possibly do this faster.
Yeah.
You always can do it faster because when you go back to look at it, you're like, yeah, we're so far ahead of you that keep going. So it's really fun and people get into it. I loved it. And when I started on ER, it was great because I had been mostly a stage actress. So for me, that made me feel more comfortable than just hitting the mark and, you know, like worrying about how my face looked. So I loved it. Very theatrical.
Now, was George?
Yeah.
We should ask if your buddy Steve ever came to set
on ER.
Yeah.
I know in the early years, I know he was a little bit more involved. I mean, that was a show that ran so long that very quickly.
Can we explain to Laura who your buddy Steve is in case she's not?
Oh, Spielberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he came a little tiny bit, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you, after "Be Still My Heart," he sent me a letter about how much he liked the show. Of course, it's framed in my office, but he's always just completely wonderful to me.
Because Steve got his start. He started out directing TV. He did like Night Gallery, and he did a Columbo as well. And you know, he's just like, that's where he sort of made his bones initially. And now this, I want to ask in this episode because this is an episode that takes place at night, not a show night, but it's Harriet is on. Harriet's doing a night shoot, and Matt is like staying up trying to write the thing. And so as a result, I don't think Steven Weber's not in this episode, right? He doesn't. And you had been on Wings with him, so you had, as an actor, had way back worked with him. Did you ever get to? You never got to work with him on this. You were just missed each other because of the timing of this story that Jack is not in it.
Yeah, I directed Steven on, I think 2 shows, Brothers and Sisters, and on How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
And I know Steven because our kids go to the same school, and we're friends socially. So I love him. He's wonderful. You guys know him, of course. Everybody knows him.
Everybody knows him. He's the best.
He's the best.
I'd love to meet him. Would love to meet him. I mean, just hearing you speak, Laura, I'm realizing what a fascinating perspective you have, because I mean, you joined ER early on, and you were on it for a while, and that show was such a seismic event. I mean, just so popular, and it sort of redefined television. It was a ratings bonanza, but it also was winning awards. And you were with it through so many different phases of its evolution. I feel like you have this unique perspective of being able to understand the kind of bell curve of a life of a TV show. Do you feel like you try to sort of apply your understanding of, oh, I understand where they are, I understand what their role is, I've been at the different life cycle points of a show when you're working on something as a director?
I think to some degree, I mean, every show's different, but you feel, I think maybe I have more empathy perhaps for the actors and everybody, because it's like, it's very challenging to do a show over and over and over and push a gurney through a door 5,000 times. And you know, it's very challenging, but you have to, I mean, I remember working on How to Get Away with Murder, and you know, there was a scene that was challenging and everyone was like, oh, I hate this. How are we going to do this? And it wasn't really that the words were wrong or bad. The words were fine. It was the context and the actors trying to like literally understand the context. And it was such a dead end. And I don't know, I just said to them, pretend that this is like the greatest little independent movie job that you've ever had, and you're so invested in its credibility, and it kind of works. You just have to shift your mindset.
Now, when you're directing on a show like How to Get Away with Murder, because so much of that show, it unfolds so methodically in terms of it's a puzzle, and you get a piece here at a time, and some of these pieces are very deliberately misdirects. You know, you could watch one episode and think you know what's going on, and 5 episodes later, it turns out that everything isn't what it seems. When you're directing it, how much of the puzzle are you allowed to know when you're directing an episode of that?
You know, I'd say maybe 50%, you know, and then sometimes those things change. So I think it's like a lot of things. You just have to make a decision about what is going to be for you, like what the intention is for you. And the actors would get so frustrated with it. But again, I said it was just like, well, this is what the show is. I mean, it's not going to transform into something else. So how do you live in that space and just feel vitality for that?
Right.
And I mean, oh, go on.
Did you ever direct an episode and then later on find out that your interpretation of what was happening was completely that you had been fooled as the director by a twist or a reveal?
I can't think specifically, but I know that's happened. I know there were characters that you directed to be, like you say, you seem, well, this has happened to me a lot as an actor. Like I've gotten cast this thing in a role, and I'll say, please, I just don't want to be a bitch in this, please. And they'll say, no, it turns out she's going to really have a good reason and be justified. And then she's just like full on bitch. So that happens. That happens to me. It happens, you know, in shows all the time. And in a way, I mean, you just have to let good story lead. So, you know, if you get sacrificed or other people, that's okay. You know, the story's better.
It's interesting because you said you'd watched when Christine was on earlier, and it's so funny. I assume you're friends with her as well?
You know, I know her. Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting because you weren't in ER at the very beginning. You joined, I think, was it the 2nd season?
Yeah, year 2.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that Christy Lottie did that with Chicago Hope, which was the rival to ER at the time. She was brought in. You were both brought in the 2nd seasons of these 90s hospital shows in a way that it's so funny to think that then you get to Studio 60 and you're directing and she's on it, and really how small this business can be at some point in terms of the interconnections that people have. Yeah,
it's incredibly small. And that's another thing about having a bad attitude or getting into too much bullshit, gossiping, negative. 1, it's not the right energy, but 2, it's like everybody who's kind of good and sticking to it is going to be here forever. So it's just dumb to alienate people or take things too personally or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I never understand about assholes in this industry. Is like, if you were a strategic asshole, you would understand it does not benefit you to treat people like shit, even if only disingenuously being nice to everyone will help you. Because as you said, it's like everyone you meet in the first 5 jobs you ever work, you end up seeing again at so many different points over the decades, and they end up being your bosses, or you end up hiring them, or whatever it is. It's also cyclical.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I talk to students, I always say, like, never, never, never be mean to an assistant.
Anyone, yes.
Because in 2 years, they're going to be the casting person.
Hey,
Absolutely.
George, Watto,
Yeah.
I want you to remember that. I want you to take that to heart.
Okay, shut up, Patrick, please. Laura's saying something here. Okay, don't butt in with your 2 cents. It's very rude, Patrick.
Are
We
you
can cut you down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that, Laura. I'm sorry for that.
so embarrassed for you guys?
We have been trying to take him down a peg, and his head has grown out of control, huge.
I should say we have passed a few stretch goals, and George, I think it's time for something.
All right. Well, okay. I have more questions, but you're right. It probably is time for something.
It's time for something. Now, I don't think you're going to do what I want you to do.
What do you mean? What do I want?
I want to hear those dolphin noises.
Oh, sure.
Okay, now you can sing your song.
Oh, oh. I feel so unsure as I take your hand and lead you to the dance floor. As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen and all its sad goodbyes. I'm never gonna dance again. The guilty feeling I've got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. I should have known better than to cheat a friend and waste a chance that I had been given. Though I'm never gonna dance again the way I dance with you. Oh, oh, oh. Time can never mend the careless whispers of a good friend. To the heart and mind, ignorance is kind. There's no comfort in the truth. Pain's all you'll find. I'm never gonna dance again. The guilty feeling got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. Should have known better than to cheat a friend and waste a chance that I had been given. Oh, I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Oh, oh. Never without your love.
George, you got to turn that music down or else we're going to get flagged.
Tonight the music seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. Maybe it's better this way. We'd hurt each other with the things we want to say. Could have been so good together. We could have lived this dance forever. But now who's gonna dance with me? Please stay, please stay. I'm never gonna dance again. The guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. Should have known better than to cheat a friend and waste the chance that I have been given. Oh, I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Oh, 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 oh.
George, that was good. That was good, George.
All right. Well, it's all good,
George.
Now, Laura, that was because we hit a certain amount of money fundraising, and George said sing it.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I felt like you were singing right, like you were looking directly into my eyes.
I had to. I figured that. I imagine I was looking right to the camera so that it would have that sensation. Now, Laura, I have a question about something that I and maybe you can clarify this. Was your first acting credit playing a ghost? You are credited on IMDb as being on Another World, the daytime soap opera, as the ghost of Nora Diamond in 1988.
A ghost.
Yeah, I think, I maybe had done like a couple. Oh, you know what? My very first film acting job was in Brian De Palma's The Fury.
My buddy Brian.
Yeah.
Wow. Brian, who was very critical of the rough cut of Star Wars, gave me a lot of great notes and helped write The Crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were in The Fury. Was it The Fury?
The Fury, yeah, it was Amy Irving.
Mm-hmm.
John Cassavetes is in the movie. Kirk Douglas is in the movie. Daryl Hannah's first movie.
Wow.
This is a stacked cast. This is a stacked cast.
And I remember, God, there were so many weird things. I mean, going to the set the first morning, we had to go really early on a Sunday morning. And I thought, wow, everyone's going to be so hungry. So I made muffins and brought muffins because I thought everyone's going to be so hungry. And then they got there and they were like omelet bars and mimosas and all this stuff. And yeah, it was really, that was my first credit. But I did play a ghost on some soap opera. What was it?
Another World.
Another World. And that was during a writer's strike of some kind.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Well, they can't do any more writing during the strike, but they're filming what has already been written.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
It was these very outlandish storylines.
Yeah.
How were you a realistic, like a ghost who just looked like some person in a room, or did they put you in a sheet or powder on you, or how did it work?
They put me in like this white dress that looked like a Victorian dress.
Classic ghost.
And yeah, they wanted my hair to be like super big, like pre-Raphaelite hairdo, and my hair is super fine.
Yeah.
So they did all this stuff with my hair, and then they put all this hairspray on it, and then they put me in this white dress, like standing on a windowsill, and then they put a fan on me, and the hair wouldn't move because there was so much hairspray in the hair. And the dress, like you could totally see through it because they backlit the dress.
Right.
It was like such a weird fiasco.
Did anyone at the time? Did you get any feedback? When people saw it, did they say that was really scary, or?
No, it was just like, I don't know. People in Michigan were like, "Oh my God, you're on the TV box! It's so exciting."
Yeah.
That was about it.
Did you get to see it when it aired, or?
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I was excited to see it and horrified when I watched it.
It also feels like at that particular time, it would be hard to get like I guess you could tape it on VCR at that point, but you'd have to get it when it aired, otherwise it would be lost to. Yeah. And
it works so quick that you just go, wait, what? We're done.
Yeah.
I wanna share a quick video from someone who's in this episode.
Oh.
Wait, hang on, Laura. Before we do that, I want to share a link I just found from Googling. 1 second.
Shit, I'm scared.
Oh no! Don't be scared. Are you the ghost?
What's all this talk about me being murdered?
Look at my eye makeup. Oh my God.
Spooky, scary.
Aren't you I'm terrified myself.
Oh, this is great.
God, where did you find this?
All I typed in was Laura Ennis, Another World, and it came up.
Wow.
All right,
That's
but let me bring up the actual thing I was gonna do. He was in 6 episodes as Harriet Hayes' ex-boyfriend, who is currently directing the movie that she's in.
Yes.
There's Josh Stamberg as Luke.
Hi, George, Watto, and Patrick. It's Josh Stamberg. Hey, hi everybody. Oh, it's such an honor to be asked to do this. I, many moons ago, played Luke Scott on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Really amazing role on an amazing project. And, you know, Aaron Sorkin. Anyway, one amazing memory was shooting a scene with Sarah Paulson where we're making the film inside of the TV show, and Luke is screaming at Harriet of having not prepared, hasn't read the script. He's furious, and unbeknownst to us, Aaron Sorkin had snuck onto the stage and watched the scene. And when I finished, he goes, "Yeah, that's the type of TV we're trying to make." So jacked up. I mean, almost jumped out of my skin, realized it was him. And to this day, I think is one of the greatest compliments of my professional career. I just loved that job. I loved it. Anyway, really want to encourage anyone out there watching, first of all, thank you, to donate anything that you can to Broadway Cares. Please, it's such a difficult time to be a human being and be alive and stay afloat and keep ourselves right. So anything you can do is so appreciated, and thanks for letting me babble for a minute. I really hope everyone out there is safe and well and sane adjacent. Take care.
Wow, he has such a great voice.
Oh man.
Like he started talking, and I thought, I never want him to stop talking. It's one of the most strangely comforting, because on the show he's sort of a character you're rooting against, but the first thing he said there, I mean, partly it's I'm exhausted, but I just thought it's such a calming voice that he has.
Pour it in my ears.
And the best part about this is getting so many people to send in videos saying, "Hey, George, Watto, and Patrick."
I mean, every time it hits, every time I hear someone say, "Hey, Watto," I get that little tingle.
And he was also on The Affair.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of stuff. That guy works a lot. I was going through his. Let me pull up, because there was something else that I thought was wild that he was in. I mean, Parenthood he was on, Drop Dead Diva he was on. He's in J. Edgar. He's on The Affair. It's just like, it's a Nashville, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember whether I think he was in my episode on when I directed The Affair, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or he was around, I can't quite remember. But he was really good on that show.
He's good on this show, too.
Yeah.
Or how fun was it to direct the movie within the movie? Like, you actually got to do some shots that I looked down for a second and realized, like, oh, you can tell it's like in the world of the movie for a second, and then we cut out of it. It's really, you really get a lot of opportunities. I've said this before, because of the nature of this big world that they built in that theater. No 2 episodes, there's no standard set of shots that any director is using on this show. You just had a great scene where it was establishing with Matt, and the camera's just sort of moving around him, and there's so many different ways to film this show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. And doing the movie within the movie was great. It was just like a whole different world to explore, and, you know, just unpacking that. Amazing prop department, amazing set design. And Sarah is just so good in it. And, you know, there's a gag with the brain getting shot. All that stuff is just incredibly fun to figure out. And I mean, that's one of the things that's so engaging about being a director, is just solving problems with all these people who are so good at this thing that they do. And that was full of that stuff. And Tom and Aaron were great, you know.
What's your favorite West Wing memory? Because I feel like this is so West Wing adjacent. We can also sneak in some West Wing questions.
You know, I guess my favorite West Wing memory is we did this big long walk and talk with Allison, and, you know, like West Wing walk and talk, like going through a bunch of shit and people handing her stuff and moving. And it ended with her going in this room where they had left these Thanksgiving turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are these huge, huge turkeys in an office, and turkeys are quite loud and quite aggressive. So it was fun. It was like I was committed to make it one shot, no cuts. So they had to keep the turkeys in the room, and it was just like this massive, hilarious undertaking. And watching Allison interact with the turkeys. And then at the end of that day, I remember those were the days when you were allowed to like drink at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the actors had sort of a little bar in their trailer. And Allison had just this great little bar set up. And they worked such long hours. It was probably 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And just going into her trailer and having a cosmopolitan or a martini.
Yeah.
And it was anything with her was a gift for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it's also so interesting because Sorkin has such a specific and stylized way of writing, and the actors make it they're so good at making it sound like they thought of it, even though we know watching it that Aaron Sorkin thought of all these lines. Everyone is very good at projecting a certain kind of intelligence, a certain kind of casual I just thought of this, which I think is a very tricky thing to do when you have writing that someone clearly slaved over to try and make it sound impressive and smart, to then have an actor have to pretend that they're just thinking of it.
Yeah.
Such a hard thing to do, you know?
Yeah, and that cast, I think they really were very wise because they cast almost exclusively theater actors on West Wing. So people were very used to learning lines exactly as they're written. You know, if you do, you know, Mamet or Chekhov or Shakespeare, I mean, you're learning the lines obviously as they're written. And so all those actors were trained in that way. And their ability to move in the space and handle props and all these things you kind of take for granted. Whereas if you go to a show that's sort of like a talking head show and you try to do a oneer, it's kind of a catastrophe because people just aren't used to integrating all those elements. So I think the language is the same thing. I mean, it was amazing to me how they lived in it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
Laura, especially because we're in this time where most of us are staying indoors and watching too much television.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a show that is on like your dream list that you would love to direct? Like, is there something you've been watching where you go like, man, that looks like fun. These are fun elements to play with. This would be a fun challenge.
Yeah.
This is you putting it out into the universe. So we're making it public.
It's interesting because I've been watching, like I would love to direct more comedy, you know, so I would love to direct Dead to Me. That would be great. This is something I cannot direct, but I would love to work with these people. I just finished watching Halt and Catch Fire. And I thought that was absolutely wonderful. And that was also a show that people really were able to live in the material. And we just finished Normal People, which I thought was incredible. So I'd love to direct on that, although that's probably pretty far-fetched. I mean, yeah, there's so much that's so good now.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention another movie, which I believe my buddy Steve produced, which is Deep Impact.
Yes.
Which is, you know, that was the year of the 2 big asteroid movies. And you had Armageddon, which is, you know, that's plenty of fun. But Deep Impact was the emotional one. It's been a while since I've watched it. I wonder whether or not it isn't almost an ideal movie to watch in this year, because it really is about humanity trying to push through something that feels so much bigger, it feels like it's a problem that's so huge that we can't tackle it. And I remember just thinking at the time, it's an asteroid movie, but it's really a movie about humanity trying to come together to deal with something so big, you know?
I mean, the oceans rise, cities fall, but hope survives.
Yeah.
It was, I agree. I mean, it's strange. It still kind of holds for sure.
Yeah.
And Mimi Leader directed it. And I think that the movie really benefited from her point of view and her leaning into the moments of connection and, you know, my relationship with my daughter and, you know, Vanessa Redgrave and Taya. And so, yeah, it's weird. It seems to be on like all the time. People seem to really like that movie.
Yeah, and Jon Favreau's in it, who'd go on to make Star Wars and all the Marvel things.
Yeah. And Morgan Freeman, president.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, great cast.
Wouldn't it be great if Morgan Freeman was president right now?
I mean,
I do want to say, I realized I was watching the screen and the baby's eyes popping out of the head, the baby doll, and I just started laughing. And then I forgot for a second that I was on a stream because I was just laughing at the baby's eyes out.
That's good. That was really fun. It was really amazingly difficult to figure out like how to make the eyes go googly eye, and how the extent of it, and it was fun. And Amanda Peet was enormously pregnant, so she was exhausted. But she's also one of those people who's just kind of there and beautiful and real at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of moments in the 22 episodes of Studio 60 that are in any way like the baby's eyes popping out. It really is a distinctly almost like Muppet-like piece of effects work.
Yeah.
It was fun. We got to cut the baby's head off and the guillotine and all that stuff was really fun. It was really fun.
Now the episode just ended, and I wanna ask you the thing that we've been asking everyone to do during this is that when this goes up on YouTube, we're gonna change the credits. So it's everybody who came on waving and pointing like they're in the SNL good nights.
Ah, I see. Okay, yes.
Would you like to do that for us?
Sure, I'll do it.
Let me make you full screen. Here we go.
So feel free to put your own spin on it, but it's, you know. And thank you all. This has been the best week of my life. Thank you all. Good night.
I want to thank this cast, this amazing cast.
Oh, this is the best. That's good.
I want to thank Sean Connery for coming on to play Ted Cruz.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much for coming on.
Sure, thanks for doing this, you guys. An amazing organization, and appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're a delight, Laura.
A pleasure to meet you, Laura.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see ya. The best.
And just what a lovely person. What a truly lovely, thoughtful, intelligent person.
Great actor, great director, great person. This is
not taking away anything from Laura, but I feel like all day it's just been delightful people.
Patrick, why would you try to take that away from Laura?
Don't take that away from Laura.
Patrick,
she just gave us 40 minutes of her time, and you're already trying to take that away from her.
Don't take that away from Laura.
We need to cut you down to size.
Guys, I have another guest I want to intro.
All right, Patrick, before we have another guest, I just have one question for you. What's your fucking deal?
Let's go. The same thing. I got to second that one. What's your fucking deal, man?
Okay, guys, this episode 117, I would say maybe my favorite episode besides the pilot.
I'm not surprised by that, Patrick, because this episode is maybe the one that feels closest to the Muppet Show.
Yes, I think so. All right, so I'm going to bring on
the Disaster Show.
This is called the Disaster Show, and I'm going to bring on a co-producer from Studio 60, one of the best in the biz. Mindy Kanaski's here.
Mindy Kanaski!
Hi.
Hello.
You guys are funny.
Hello. Oh, thank you.
Hey, we try. It's not for lack of trying.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you're not in the real White House Situation Room there, are you?
No, but I thought it would be fun.
Oh, that's great. That's so great.
It's fun, but it just makes me wish that you were actually in the Situation Room.
I feel you.
Power to control some of the things that are happening.
I would sneak around and do some stuff. I would.
Oh,
Yes.
I do a lot of whispering in ears.
We're so.
All right,
Would
let's get this guy started.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna press play in 1, 2, 3.
Now, and I didn't hallucinate this earlier when it was mentioned. Was this the last episode shot? The disaster show? Did I hear that?
You don't know the answer to this.
No.
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 Someone
I
said
thought
it
that
was.
someone said that this was shot after the other episodes, and this was the last one shot. But I find that
I want to say it was Dylan. I want to say Dylan.
Dylan would know. So that could be that it was shot out of rotation because of that sort of 4-episode arc where we had guest stars that we had to block.
Yeah.
And lock in. So it would make sense, but I don't remember it being in the order shot differently.
But this is the only episode to not feature Matt and Danny, correct?
Yeah.
Because it was Allison and Tim.
Yeah.
So cute. Aren't they so cute?
They're adorable.
Oh my gosh. We were so stoked when we read it because of course we were all in love with Allison from the show that we just came on because there were so many of us on the series from the West Wing. So it was old home week for us for sure.
It's also, in addition to being a very fun episode, it's a very playful episode in the way that this is the episode that establishes that in the world of Studio 60, the West Wing is a television show that stars Allison Janney, which creates a world in which Aaron Sorkin also exists in the world of this show, as does Timothy Busfield and Bradley Whitford, etc.
But at the same time, there's a Bartlett sign up on the set.
Yeah, and Gage Whitney, the law firm that Sam Seaborn works for, is the law firm that is referenced to this. So this is an Ouroboros, yes?
Yes. It was a little do-si-do. Nice catch on the law firm.
Yeah.
Well, you don't forget Gage Whitney once you hear a name like that. That's one of those names that is designed to stick in your head like, oh, I may need them at some point, you know?
Yeah. Especially that song you were singing earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little long, man. They're going to get you.
I mean, it does feel like the one criticism I would throw out about this episode is every time Allison Janney sees Danny, she should say, I can't get over it. You look just like Bradley Whitford, the actor I've been working for, with a decade working alongside him.
And saying to Cal, hey, it's crazy you look a lot like my boyfriend on the West Wing, Timothy Busfield.
It does feel, you look like Danny Kincannon, and Danny, you look like it. That is the way that a dream logic works. That there's something almost Twin Peaksian about the fever dream of this episode.
Yes,
absolutely.
So Mindy, let's hear about your Studio 60 origin story. How did this happen? How did this come about for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had been on the West Wing and worked with Tommy and Aaron. And when this was greenlit, it was greenlit very fast and it was accelerated. So they needed someone to come in and just get everything started. You know, help us get office space, help us hire writers, help us get the cast and crew in order. Because normally you have more time than we did. Mm-hmm. So I went in and there wasn't really a role other than just, you know, I don't want to say a bad word, but be somebody's person to just, you know, when the grenade was launched, to just like manage it all. So it was really fun because I got to do office services right when I went in. I got to go in and support Tommy and Aaron and their assistants on the day-to-day shit that couldn't be managed by just 4 people because there was just 4 of them. So it just turned into kind of it wasn't post, it wasn't writing, it wasn't directing, it was talent relations and publicities and office services and operations and just sort of hectic management. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But kind of unidentified, you know, it's like, what do you do? It's like, well, like, what do you tell your mom that you do on a show? She wants you to say, oh, I'm directing. Oh, I'm writing. No, I'm just doing all that other stuff that is, you know.
Producing. That's producing.
Yes. But people want to think producing's fancy. It ain't.
They want to think it's cigars and go, hey, yeah.
Right.
It's all the little pieces. It's just
there's so much to it that it's like if you're a snake wrangler, people understand that you're wrangling the snakes and it's a focused thing.
Oh my god!
But if you're producing, it's everything. You know, it's everything. It's anything. It's interesting to think about the fact that, you know, so many Sorkin shows are about highly capable people having to do a million things at once. And yet, in order to make one of these shows, it requires people like you who are essentially Aaron Sorkin characters in real life, in that you have to be one of these people who's highly capable doing a million things at once. Like the rat-a-tat-tat of these shows that's your job in real life.
Yeah, it's like have his syncopation in your brain to do and anticipate what he needs and how he needs it. And Tommy too. I mean, when I'm watching this and it just screams Tommy with these wonders in it, it literally makes me emotional because they're so talented. And when I had a conversation with D.L. Hughley early on, he was like, that Aaron Sorkin, he's a fucking genius. I never met a genius before. And he's a real life genius. And when he put it that way, because Aaron is in so many ways that he's kind of hard to track because his mind is just flying, I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. I know a genius. And it was awesome.
Hey, George Watto, I just want to hop in really quick. I felt like I'd been wearing that shirt for a really long time, and I just wanted to switch it.
Okay.
You know, we've all been living in our apartments for a long time by ourselves, and I feel like things change. Your life gets different, and people often ask, like, single, taken? No, too busy watching Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Oh,
it just felt like a good time.
That's cool. Do you have another one?
If you want me to get one, I would get you one.
I would.
Okay, we'll talk after this. Okay.
That would be very cool. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to hold you to it.
That's one of the most Patrick Cotnor shirts I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's the most me shirt I've ever bought in my life. Now, Mindy, you and I talked yesterday a lot about the set and how crazy it was and how big it was. And we were talking specifically, I got a photo about something that you told me about. Do you remember?
I did. It was a charcoal sketch of the production designer's drawings.
No. Well, that was not. Yes, you also sent that, and I will show that in a second.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the John Wan.
Oh my gosh, John Wan. So man, he comes to West Wing as a background artist, and he's just, while he's gently waiting to be on camera, he would just doodle and do sketches of everybody on set, and they were magnificent. Tommy and Aaron wanted to do a book of all the sketches that he had put together from 4 or 5 seasons on the West Wing that included the cast and the crew and the set. And we got super far, and legal put the kibosh on it.
Yeah.
Legal. Those legal. Oh, so when we came on to Studio 60, we hired him to do sketches on the walls and to sort of paint and to just be around and do even doodles that we would put on Post-its that would be all over the set. Yeah. And this was one of them. He's magnificent.
It's such a joyful idea that I hope, in the same way that, like, every now and then something changes in the way people do production. And I'm sure that right now people are having to figure out COVID. They're having to figure out the ways to do things. In recent years, intimacy coordinators have become a new thing that is immediately, useful and helpful. And I think hiring a cartoonist to do things like this should be standard practice. It's such a smart thing to do in terms of just lifting the quality of the experience for everyone working, to have someone creating this art within the world of the production.
But I do also want to say, Mindy, can I tell them the detail that you told me about this?
You know what? I was just going to say it. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'll let you say it because you lived it. I did not.
Okay. So the set is being torn down. The work and the steel and the pylons. I mean, this thing was built and not just sort of brought in with walls. So we had 2 levels, and there was steel, and they went under the ground, and they just supported it. It was, I think, $7 million that they imagined would be amortized over 6 or 7 years. So the cost wasn't as magnificent as it was if it would just be one. So anyway, the set's going down, and I knew the construction coordinator, and I'm knowing that there was something there that I would want to save. It's like when I left West Wing, I asked if I could have this. So I went to set, and they were ready to just smash that drawing that you just saw. And I'm like, Scotty, please wait. Can we please just cut that out? I wanted to give it to John. So they sawed it out, put it aside, and we saved it for him.
And it's framed on
kind of a last minute.
Now, John also
belongs in a museum.
Belongs in a museum. Now, John also did this.
That's me.
Which is Mindy.
That's when I was a brunette. Yes, because I used to, I was pretty assertive with our guests. And whenever they would come by on the cart, I thought how fun it would be to treat them. If we were down or slow or there was a rehearsal in a small area, I would say, oh, wait, do you want to come on in? And I would bring them on the stages all the time. And the actors were lovely. And they always talked to them, and they would let them sometimes, if it wasn't a real intimate scene, they would let them watch. And this was before 9/11 where it got, too tricky. So, John, I think this was an homage to sort of the love that I had for all the tourists that came on the lot and got free tours to the West Wing and Studio 60. John Spencer was the best. He would come out just to say hey, and people would squeal.
That's the best. That's what you hear from everybody. Everybody says he was the best.
He was the best.
And then let me bring up this last one, which I believe we saw on Jack's wall. Right? Was that Jack?
That's my hallway, but there were a number of those. That one I got out of the trash and unrolled it.
I think Jack has one too. Now, this is a charcoal sketch of the set.
Right. From that particular point of view.
Yeah.
Up in the nest. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Isn't that something?
It is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
Carlos Barbosa, ladies and gentlemen. He's a very talented man.
Yeah. So when you think of Studio 60, what do you think of?
Oh my goodness. So much, because it was so much fun and it was so fast. I think, well, first I met Sting, so I know it was all full of those stars and everything, but I got to meet Sting, and that was pretty sick. That, he was right there and he was singing, and everybody on set, I got the calls. How can we get in the shot? How can we get in the shot? So there were rows of people in the back that were actually employees of Warner Brothers that we got to put in. But what they didn't know, that it was a 7-hour day. We went to about 1 a.m. and they couldn't leave. And they'd be like, oh, I'm really tired. You didn't see us. I'm like, I know, but it's an empty seat now. And the shoulder's different. And you can see your profile. And they couldn't leave. But it was fun.
That's cool.
Camera work, the crew. I don't know if anyone told you this fun fact, that a lot of the people that you're seeing on camera are actually crew members. So when you see Alice in the beginning getting powdered up by that makeup artist, that was our makeup artist, Ron. The sound guy is your Vaunt. He was actually our sound guy. The cameramen were our cameramen on set. The sound guy is probably our sound guy.
We showed a video earlier this morning from Kimberly, who was a PA.
Oh yeah.
Who was also a PA on the show. I guess she would play a PA on the show.
She was a cockroach first.
Yes.
All right.
She was in a cockroach costume. Then they said, let's bump you up to pretending to be a PA. And they said, let's have you actually be a PA as well.
Yeah, which is so funny.
That makes sense.
That's a classic showbiz story.
Yeah.
Classic, yes.
Steven Weber, Tim, they were so talented. They're so talented. I miss it. I really do, now that I'm reliving this again. But, also working with Tommy and Aaron, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. They're so inclusive. They're kind. They're generous. They're high energy, and that energy sucks everybody into it. And they appreciate. I remember early on in the West Wing, I referred to the extras as extras. He said, "You mean the background artists?" And I was like, "Oh, copy that."
Yeah.
He had respect for everybody, and but he wanted the money to go on the camera or in the show, and it did. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's sometimes you'll look at something that costs a lot of money and you'll think, well, where did the money go? But this is a show that if you're really looking at it, it's everywhere. Like every shot is there's so much going on. Like even just right now, this shot of Steven Weber, he's the only one in the shot. But if you look deep into it, you see how much depth there is. And there's a TV here and a camera there. And the lighting is so complicated and delicate.
And playback, unbelievable playback on this. Our playback guys.
Wait, Mindy, hang on. Mindy will know the answer to this question, George.
All
right.
What's the question that you've been asking?
Now, was there a direct TV signal that was pumped? Did they have a direct TV satellite installed so that they could watch on some of these monitors direct TV programming sometimes downstairs?
Dylan said he wanted to watch sports, so he got a direct TV uplink set up.
I think he had it in his office set up.
Just for him.
But I think Ben and Matt arranged for that to be on set as well, because they were always pulling shots that they needed to. But it was unbelievable.
he told us that story, and then he told us that he had planned to make up a bunch of make-believe stories to fool us. And so I have to verify this. I have to.
Oh gosh, I hope I remember it accurately.
Well, it sounds like you did. It sounds like you verified that there was a direct TV signal coming in, that there was programming being pumped into the Studio 60 set that people could watch.
Yeah. And the other thing George was wondering earlier was about the TVs, because there's so many TVs on the set.
What happened to those TVs when everything was, because presumably they didn't, when they were about to smash the art, they weren't also going to smash all the TVs. Like, people, who got those?
They had to go back. And because there was so many, well, wherever we rented them from, the playback guys have a deal with a company and they rent all the monitors.
Right.
And there's a big inventory. And they don't just go on set. I mean, I don't know how many, there were 50 or some on set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the control room alone, Yeah. And then some would go to an office. Like, oh, that's a great TV. Can you put one in my office? Knowing that it was for TV while you're working, so you could do research maybe.
Right.
And then at the end of the season, they all had to go back.
But see, a normal playback monitor would be behind the scenes when someone was filming, but these monitors got to be stars themselves on the show. These were, how people will say things like, oh, well, New York City is really a character in the movie. People will say things like that. These TVs,
they're like 400 characters on.
I mean, unbelievable. And the art and the logos that were placed in them and needed to change every week. There was a person that was the designer of the art of the logos inside the playback monitors in the show of the show.
That's wild. We also heard, I don't know if you remember this, but this was an insane fact that felt like the biggest scoop of all time. When Jack and Ian were on, and they talked that they wrote sketches each week.
Oh, yeah.
Sketches
were created to be shot in whole in case, right? So you'd have to shoot most of them and then use pieces of them in the show. So that was another layer that had to be pre-strategized to be ready to shoot and be ready to dress. You have to, because they were all in crazy costumes.
Yeah.
So there was just so many layers, and it was a do-si-do all the time of what to do and when to do it and to make it flow. And it's a really stellar crew that put that together that was on the Ret, anticipating.
Wow.
But yeah, they were funny.
Yeah.
Those two.
Now, when you're working on a show this big, what is the hard, like, is there any one thing that you're like, this was the hardest thing I had to do on this show?
Gosh, the hardest things you're not allowed to.
You work on a lot of big shows, so like maybe that's tough to.
It's you don't want to tell tales. I think the hardest thing was because I managed the publicity with the publicists, and so two of the stars on our show were Tommy and Aaron, which always isn't the case. They were high-profile guys, and people wanted to know what they were thinking, what they would want to say. The set was a star, and so the stars are the star, and we had to do a lot of publicity. We were up against. That dumb little show with Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin. I can't remember the name of it. The one that blew us.
Saturday Night Live. I think that's what you're talking about.
I'm being facetious. But that show launched the same as us, and it felt like it was competition because NBC was blowing us up at the same time.
Yeah.
And it appeared that we were going to be funny, but we weren't because we had Matthew Perry, and it was behind the scenes of a comedy show. I think, frankly, personally, I think it was marketed incorrectly because the anticipation was it was going to be light and fun. It wasn't fun. There's nothing fun about comics and the art and their soul. And so
we're miserable people.
You get it. The darkness was, on screen.
It's also just amazing in a way that the reaction was, well, you can't possibly have two different takes on behind the scenes at a sketch comedy show. Can you imagine if that same standard was applied to, say, law enforcement or lawyers or doctors?
Yeah.
It almost feels like if 30 Rock and Studio 60 had both been produced by Dick Wolf under the Law and Order banner, then they would have been able to have crossovers and team. I mean, they eventually did do a crossover because Aaron obviously went on 30 Rock to do the cameo. But can you imagine at the time there had been a way for them to not be thought of as one or the other?
Right.
It's baffling because we don't do that. We don't do that with other genres. Right. It's like if you have two things that are special, we can't have two, we have to pick one. But if you have 30 things that are all kind of doing the same thing, which is like someone committed a crime, we have to find out who did it. We got them or we didn't. And that's like a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I wish that Studio 60 and 30 Rock had taken place in the same universe, and no changes to the show, no tie-ins, no changing of tone, except every couple of episodes in like 30 Rock, they'd look at Variety and they'd go like, oh, Studio 60 whomped us in the ratings again. We got to pick it up here at the Girly Show. And then
Never happened.
They'd be like, the Girly Show, they're in the toilet. Look at them. We're running circles around them. Because canonically, within the shows, within the world of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, Studio 60 is a very high-rated show. And within the world of 30 Rock, the Girly Show is a pretty unsuccessful show. Yeah. It would have been nice if they were just shows on rival networks.
Yeah. And then imagine, and the way you tie this in, you have a third show, which is the bridge between the two shows, and it's just called Two Jacks, and it's Jack Donaghy and Jack Rudolph, two high-powered executives with big egos who can't stand each other.
Yeah, on the phone.
Right. It's them going to like drinks. Hey, Jack, I'm going to be in LA for like 12 hours to pop in. Do you want to go to like Frank and Musso's or whatever? And then it's just the two Jacks like shooting the shit.
I mean, the crazy thing is, it does feel like Baldwin could be on this show as Donaghy and Weber could be on 30 Rock as Jack Rudolph. And it would you could buy it. You could buy it.
Now, what I wonder is, in the worlds of the two shows, who are the two, in the world of Studio 60 versus 30 Rock, who are the two characters that it's hardest to imagine existing in the same reality?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the two Jacks are they're at the closest nexus point. But I feel like there's some character at some far end of the most unrealistic 30 Rock character with the most hyper realistic, maybe like Jeter's dad, and maybe like Mark and Tom Jeter's dad.
Yeah,
could never exist in the same as Kenneth.
Here's my answer. I would say Jeter's brother on the ground in Afghanistan, contrasted with Paul Rubin's character from season 1 of 30.
Oh my God.
That's perfect.
Those are the two that jump to mind immediately. That he's in Afghanistan, they go, oh no, royalty is here. And Paul Rubens comes in with his puppet body.
Now, Mindy, how much time are you in the production office versus on set?
It's probably even, because one of the things that I was going to circle back to is one of the most difficult things on the show was doing the publicity and marketing, because there's no time.
Yeah.
Because when this cast was shooting, it's a 12 to 13 hour day, and then they have to shoot sometimes a skit within the show. So there was just always something to either be rehearsing or shooting, and then to get them to be doing something else was very super tricky, because it's not fun.
The promo doesn't happen because they're ready. The promo happens because it's 10:30 on Friday night.
Right.
And Mindy, you called them skits. They're not skits. They're sketches.
Sorry.
Written by some of the finest comic minds in the world.
That's like saying extra instead of background artist. Thank you for checking.
There you go. Well, I was paraphrasing Tom Jeter when he got mad at his parents.
Oh,
I don't want to scold you, but we might have to send you an Abbott and Costello record. I mean, you might need to listen to that thing closely.
Okay. So I got a record. Is it going to be a record?
Record.
You're doing
and a turntable, and you're going to listen to it, and you're going to laugh and laugh.
I'll call you and I'll sing to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, exactly.
the deal.
I'm sure to thank me for that. Okay, so wait, what was your last question? Because I interrupted myself. Marketing, publicity.
You're talking about how there's not enough time for that. There's too much stuff going on. Oh, I asked how much time are you on set versus how much time are you in the production office? Did we lose Mindy?
No, she's just thinking.
She's thinking?
She's deep in thought.
She's deep in thought. How long will she stay here before she realizes she's frozen?
Party Blue Jay said no respect for the Paris Opera House of American comedy.
He's back.
I
We got her back.
Did I go away? Sorry.
You went away
forever.
You froze, and it looked like you were really thinking.
It looked like you were really thinking, and you came back and you had a full, even more thoughtful. You were like, you look like not only were you thinking, but maybe scheming.
So how did you break up your time is the question, basically.
Oh, half on set and half in the office, because there was always something to do on set, whether it had to do with publicity or shoot. I helped shoot the stills that would go within the set.
Yeah.
And the stages. So it was all over the place. I would say, yeah, half and half.
Oh, that sounds ideal.
It was ideal.
Because that way, if you ever get tired of the one, you have the perfect balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to go and watch, that was another, caveat. You'd have a few minutes and you would just want to go down and see what was going on.
Sure.
And Laura Ennis, by the way, we just give a shout out to Laura Ennis. Okay, so when I first met her on the West Wing, you're a little starstruck when you haven't met a cast member of a big TV show that's coming on to direct. So you're, like, hi. And she was gentle and kind and smart and sweet. And I was so happy that was the story I got to tell, because people always ask you, oh, what's Laura Ennis like? Yeah. And you want to be able to say all those things because she's super talented, and she doesn't get jacked up when, production is hard. Everything goes wrong all the time. You always have to have a plan B and a plan C.
Yeah.
And she just, was calm and even and smart and intuitive. And she was great with cast because, of course, she's an actress. So she's a really super listener.
Even is a great term you just dropped there, Mindy. I feel like television, especially network television, with a long season and a big episode order, it's like a marathon and it's a pressure cooker. Yeah. And it's such an underrated trait to have someone who is sort of even and steady. Yeah. I mean, all the other things you listed, but is able to sort of remain focused and kind.
And she's talented. So you get that and you get a good episode out of it too,
Yeah.
Class act.
Yeah. Class
how
act.
much did you work with the different directors who were coming in each week?
That wasn't my thing. I would always have to, if there was press on set or publicity and there would be people getting B-roll, it's very intrusive to, a company. So I would always have to go and have a meeting with the director and let him know how he worked. And then it was Tommy and Aaron's wish to have them on when we're shooting, which wasn't always the case. And they were fine, but it was just to manage that. So I got to go and work closely with them whenever there was press and publicity going on, which was all the time.
So press or publicity, like Newsweek, when Newsweek came.
Yes. It's a big deal.
That's cool and coming our way. Wow. Written by Mark Pizer for Newsweek. I found this in my DVD set. I must have put it in there in 2007.
Oh my gosh, you give it the scrapbook.
Look at this.
You need a scrapbook.
Do not, look at this. Do not adjust your set. We got both guys there. Both of them.
Yeah. And they, they sit there.
He was calling his shot.
Here's what's tricky though, because they're hearing everything. Sometimes they have, headphones on, so they're hearing everything that's going on the monitor because the cast, sound will put them down if they're in the bathroom but they're flies on the wall, and they could be unsavory if they're your company and they're your guests for 4 or 5 days in a row, hearing and watching everything that's going on. But, when you have a cast or crew like ours, it's just a terrific article that comes out and terrific pictures. They want to come back. And that's the other thing. If you want to come back, you can't sort of be telling tales about a bad day on set or a bad hour or a tantrum.
So they're a regular Martha Odell, Christine Lottie, is what you're saying. Always around snooping.
Yes, and you never know what they're hearing or what they're not hearing.
Yeah.
I remember there was, I don't remember what outlet it was. It was Extra or something like that. They came on the set and they were interviewing a cast member about the American Heart Association or Cancer Walk, something like that. She just happened to be on our set, and we gave them permission to be using our set and interviewing her during her workday. And they tried to hoodwink her into answering a provocative question about something that was going on with, I think it was Mel Gibson when he was arrested, just dropping that question in.
Yeah.
And I happened to be camera's here, and I happened to be standing behind him, and I didn't even know her. And at the time, she looks at the interviewer who's sitting next to the camera, and I'm like this, like, don't answer that question, man, because they will try to do anything they can to just get you to answer something that you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
And we really hadn't met other than me saying, sure, your camera crew can come here. I'll be with you to make sure they don't get anything on set they're not supposed to get. And she was lovely.
Yeah.
And she was very gracious about, like, thanks for doing that, because I probably would have answered it somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to bring up a video. I do have a video. Someone who was on a few episodes ago, and we were talking and missed them, but I want to bring it on. Scott Lawrence, who's an actor. He plays the NBS legal counsel in this, but he's also on Star Wars Resistance, the animated show.
Great stuff.
It's a digital short. A digital short.
Oh, gosh.
Hello, George, Watto, Patrick, Scott Lawrence here. Thanks for having me. I played the NBS legal counsel in an episode of Studio 60, and wasn't a great, huge role, but I was willing to do any small thing that they called me to do on that show. So I was really happy to do it because it was one of my favorite shows. I love Sorkin's shows, and this one was definitely one of my favorite. I was so disappointed it didn't last forever. I'm so looking forward to watching the marathon. I'm so glad people are still excited to watch it, because I am. I had a great time on the shoot. The cast is amazing. I got to work with Steven Weber and Amanda Peet. Oh my God, she's electric. It's such a great bunch of folks, and really there to make everything really excellent. And every moment was really shot with care. And I remember being struck by how amazing the set was. I've been on a lot of theater stages, backstage, a lot of studio backstages, and they've taken such detail to recreate the feeling. And I wonder even how much of it was seen by the cameras, but for the actors, it created such a feeling of being in and a part of a real show. And I just thought the work there was so good, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoys the marathon. I'll be right there with you, because I'm locked down, and I'm so happy it's on. And please also never hesitate to give generously to Broadway Cares. They're doing so many good things and saving lives. So please open your hearts and your wallets. Thanks. Enjoy the show.
That's a good reminder, Patrick. Can we take another look at the spreadsheet? I feel like
yeah.
I do want to say I pulled down that video, and he waves for another 12 seconds, which is wonderful. Let me refresh our PayPal. And guys, this is a good opportunity for people watching.
Open your wallet. Venmo.
Be a little
Venmo.
We do have a Venmo. If people want to send it to me, I will add it to the PayPal.
You know what? People love their Venmo. The kids love their Venmo.
So easy.
So we are at 7219 right now, which means
let's fill in some of these stretch goals, because 8,000. George is going to put on another hat.
Yeah, I'm going to put on a hat at 8,000.
And something we talked about, Mindy, Stephen Tobolowsky was on a few episodes ago, the great Stephen Tobolowsky, and he recommended a Charles Dickens book to us, Bleak House. And he said we should read it. And we're not going to read it until we hit $8,500.
Oh, I'll read it.
Okay, it's $912 pages. 912 pages. Mindy will read it too.
I'll read it too.
And when we talk about it, Mindy will come on and talk about it with us.
Yep.
Yes.
Patrick, George puts on a new hat at 8,000 and also at 10,000.
Say that one more time, George.
George puts on a new hat at 8,000 and 10,000.
Okay.
And you can take off, Watto takes off the third hat at 9,000, because I got overzealous and I went for the hat trick early.
Oh, boom.
There we go. All right.
We got to fill in. Mindy, as a producer, the task is come up with good stretch goals for 7,250, 7,500, 7,750.
Wait, hang on. I'll say this. I do this almost every fundraiser. Where should I shave my head at?
Oh, well, I think you should do it like a strip per
sure.
250.
Okay.
You got to give everybody something along the way.
Can you shave S60 into your?
Yes, I will shave S60 in my head. Patrick shaves S60.
Now, we had him shave the letter P into his head for Patrick, and at one point we had him shave a little cupcake. But if we get him to shave S60 into his hair, he might actually keep it that way.
Yes. And I put Patrick shaves full head at 8250.
Great.
So guys, listen, if you all donate $4, we'll get there very quick.
There you go. And it's Broadway Cares. Come on.
It's Broadway Cares. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
Now, Mindy, I have a question because there's a lot of talk in this episode about the trip to Hawaii that Simon and Tom and Lucy they're gonna go on this couples trip to Hawaii. We know that sometimes people will like to write in things so that they can. Was there ever talk that there was, if the show had come back, that there was going to be a Hawaii episode?
Oh no,
of Studio 60. But it could be a free trip to Hawaii for everybody.
No one.
Now, Mindy, at this point,
so I wish there was like a really fun, interesting answer, but no.
That's the producer. You're just shutting it down as a producer. Like I'm not even gonna entertain the bit for a show that's just like we cannot afford to go to Hawaii. Not even if we'd come back for season 2.
Yeah, no, I don't know. They're still paying for the set. Remember?
Yeah. That's right. Now the episode just ended. This is a short episode.
It was a short episode.
36 minutes. I wonder why that is.
Probably because it was the last one shot, as Dylan brought up earlier.
Yeah. Huh.
Can I tell you a fun fact?
Yeah.
So when Aaron was naming some of the characters in the pilot, he was writing and he was doing the characters of Dylan and Wes, and he was naming people. And I was walking down the hall and he said, Mindy, you have 2 boys, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, what are their names? And I said, Dylan and Wes.
Whoa.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
That's so fun.
And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to name them. And he just said, oh, great, thanks. Because, Aaron does things pretty quickly.
Right.
Zips into his office. Next thing I know, reading through it. And I was like,
People keep dropping bombshells at the end of their episode on this.
Oh,
they keep coming in and they're like, oh, by the way, it's a very Sorkin thing to come in and be like, by the way, here's a little thing. And then you're like, wait, what?
I know.
Is Wes old enough to have seen? Has Wes seen Wes Mandell's big speech?
No. Wes
that man is named after you.
I should bring this to their attention. They were young, and they're not young anymore. So I'm going to give them that tidbit and sit them down to watch these.
So when you see Judd Hirsch say, that remote in your hand is a crack pipe, and like, that guy's named after you when you were little.
Yeah.
And also, you're never too young for Studio 60. Maybe the TV ratings board would disagree, but in your heart, you're never too young for Studio 60.
And it gets better, right?
Yeah.
It just gets better when I watch it, and the things that you missed the first time. There's just so many. I mean, I hope you're getting information about all the writing on the wall. And there was a wall that you never see that was behind the stage, and it had signatures on it like the real Saturday Night Live has it. And every visitor on our set signed that wall, and it was kind of a claim to fame. And I'd have them go into the hair and makeup the studio that was a part of the set, and I would have them sign it too. So everybody that visited just got to sign it, because who knew?
Well, so Mindy, I guess the big question is, you were one of the last people there when it was coming down.
Ugh, awful.
Did you keep anything?
I had in my office for a really long time the big photos of the stars. And I kept calling them. I was almost harassed them. I was like, I have these photos that I took from the framed pictures. Don't you want them? And they just didn't want giant photos of themselves. So I didn't. I wish I had, but the most meaningful thing for me was the John Wan superhero thing.
Yeah,
I got it, but I didn't get anything like I got here.
What happened to those big pictures of the stars that they didn't want? That I have a feeling this story's ending was going to break little Patrick's heart.
It's going to be a sad ending.
I'm going to say that they're probably in the Warner Brother archive, because the archive is very good at maintaining their assets and keeping the historical vision alive. And history is very important to Warner Brothers.
Hang on, George Watto. I'm going to take you off for 1 second.
That's fine.
Mindy, is that true?
Oh, it's very true. I worked in the archive. That's how I know that.
I just want to make sure.
I don't think there's like 6 of them, but they're the archive.
So it's the ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
They're all going in. They're pushing it, bringing all the big pictures in there.
There's like there's a bunch of Acme products in there, probably.
Yes. The Scooby van.
That's right. Yeah.
Batmobiles.
Ugh.
Would you mind taking everyone off the screen for 1 second?
Everyone
wants to say one thing. To the security staff at the Warner Brothers archives, red alert, be on the lookout for a man with Studio 60 shaved into his head. He is planning a major heist. Okay, you can bring everyone on.
That was very responsible, Watto.
That was fun.
I don't want my hands dirty with this one.
Now, Mindy, the thing we've been asking everyone to do at the end is when this goes up on YouTube during the credits, it's going to be like SNL. It's going to be like Studio 60. We're going to have our own good nights. And I want you to wave to the camera and give us your good night. Is that okay?
Yeah. Is it audio too?
If you want it to be audio, it can be audio too.
Okay.
MOS. Yeah, we're going to edit it all together.
Yep.
Just tell me when to go.
Go ahead.
Oh, woot. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. We love you. Go Pittsburgh. Go Steelers. We love you. Broadway cares. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week.
That's good. That's a good one.
Our first woot.
Our first woot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Mindy, thank you so much for coming on.
Mindy, it was so nice to talk with you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, you guys. All the best. I hope you reach your goal.
And if we have to read that book, I'm going to buy you a copy of that book, and you're going to have to read it too with us.
For sure.
Okay.
I promise.
Right. We'll see ya.
All right. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. All right. Let's start this next episode.
All right. So now breaking news. So now we want to be clear for people who are experiencing that essentially, even though the next 3 episodes are a 3-parter, this is part 1 of a 5-part arc. We are heading into the home stretch. The Disaster Show is the last standalone Studio 60 adventure.
Yeah.
This is talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Talk about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Is that Entourage, George?
No, it's kind of the sound that happens at the beginning of.
Here, you keep doing what you're doing, and then I'll add in some stuff.
Oh yeah! No one told your life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love's life's the like you're always stuck in second gear. That's too slow when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, even your year. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you. Like
there's the back wall with the signatures.
There for you. Because you're there for me to bound down.
Now, George, these next few episodes are big Nate Corddry episodes.
Yeah,
they're big.
Great.
Now, this is the one. This is now. Is this the one where he made the mistake of calling it Studio City?
Yeah.
Which brings my mind to thinking about Coruscant, which is a city planet. It's a planet of cities. It's a studio city. It's a city of studios.
Our whole planet is a TV set.
That's
whole
right.
planet of TV set. Now, George Watto.
Yeah.
Nate couldn't make it tonight, and he felt very sad. He felt very sad. But he sent a really good video, and I'm going to show it now, okay?
I'm sorry, he sent a what?
A very good GLTS S60 digital short.
Pre-tape, baby.
Is this it? Are we the short?
We're the
Were we the digital short we met along the way?
All along, we were the non-Nate!
Patrick, WATTO. It's Nate Corddry here. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you guys. It is my best girl's birthday today, so I can't be there with you live, but I wanted to send this video along to you guys and to all of your viewers, and thank you for making such an enormous donation. The donations have been coming in all day for Broadway Cares, and it's a great organization, so thank you for supporting them. I played Tom Jeter on the show. Wow, that was a year. That was a year. Moved to Los Angeles. You know, it was Aaron Sorkin's return to television, so I assumed I had probably a good 7 years of network series regular cash coming in, so I rented a ridiculous house in the Hollywood Hills off of Woodrow Wilson by the Coinga Pass. Just a hop, skip, and a jump down to Warner Brothers, stage 19, where we shot. And that was a mistake. Rented it, didn't buy, but still a mistake. I remember being at the upfronts and them ushering us through the upfronts like we were, you know, they made all these assumptions about the presumed success of the show. And we were at the upfronts, we had our own little table, and advertisers would come up and take pictures with us, I mean, Matthew Perry. And the other NBC shows had tables, and I remember walking past the 30 Rock table and the Office table. No one was talking to them. No one cared. Everyone wanted to get a photo with the guy from Friends, who was on a new series that didn't work out. Oh man, I remember, I think it was episode 3. It's either 3 or 6, I don't remember, when I first thought we might be in trouble. We were against Monday Night Football, I remember, because we aired on Monday nights, and we were getting beat in the ratings. We beat CSI Miami, though. Fuck that guy. But Monday Night Football beat us up pretty good. And it was a cold open before they smash cut to the titles, and it was Matthew Perry struggling with the ability to write a joke or write a punchline. And it smash cut to the titles, and he's like, I can't write this joke. And I was like, oh, I think the stakes might be off. Because the stakes in the West Wing were inherent, you know? India's gonna invade Pakistan, so we're gonna do something about it. Smash cut to the flag, and you're like, yeah. That's when I thought, ooh, this show might not be for everybody. But I remember, man, I remember Tim Busfield being a spectacular director. I made a lifelong friend in Steven Weber, who I adore, and who he's one of the great guys. I remember being overwhelmed for the first couple episodes, just keeping my mouth shut, staying in the background, watching the pros work. I remember during the pilot, they were shooting the final season of The West Wing, the final episode of The West Wing. They were shooting the same night as they were shooting the beginning of the pilot of Studio 60, and it was 2 stages over. And the same producers, of course, and so we went over to the stage that they were shooting The West Wing in, and it was Brad's final shot as Josh on The West Wing. So the whole crew was there, and the whole cast was there, and I was there, and like me and Nate Torrance, I think, and maybe Simon Helberg were over there, and we were watching, we're like, holy fucking shit. And it was Whitford's last take on West Wing, and he started the next morning on Studio 60, which was crazy. And I was dressed like George Bush from the pilot. Not a good George Bush impression. What else? I remember John Goodman beating himself up because he like dropped a line. He didn't get the lines exactly right, and with Sorkin you have to do that. And he was it was wild watching him like beat himself up. Everyone was like, it's all right, man, we'll just do another take. Boy, I remember my audition. I had to do 3 characters and then the scenes. I remember flying out to test. Flying out was my second time in Los Angeles, being overwhelmed by that. And then 2006, yeah, that was the year I started taking Propecia. So that's a good memory too. Still on it, by the way. What's up? And I remember the final episode when we didn't know that we were canceled, but we all assumed it. We didn't know, it wasn't for sure. And I drove home, it was a late night, drove home to my apartment. I left the house in the hills because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to afford it. And went into my apartment alone, poured a tumbler of whiskey, and quietly wept. True story. What an experience, man. Matthew Perry is still one of the funniest people I've ever been in a room with. He and I had a running bit doing Annie Hall jokes back and forth. D.L. Hughley, just such a kind, sweet, funny guy. Lovely guy. It was a great group of people, Simon Helberg and Nate Torrance, who I loved, and just, it was a great crew. We had really great camera operators, and Tom Del Ruth was the DP, who was the DP for the West Wing. Didn't know my name. He called me Tom for like, I don't know, probably 4 months, and I didn't correct him. Yeah, it's wild. It was a wild experience to have all this hubris, to assume greatness before it was earned. And I think every actor who's lucky enough to get a big break that doesn't end up working out, it's a great lesson. Really good, important lesson for me to make in my first year in Los Angeles. So, yeah. Whew. Sketches, not skits. Sketches, not skits. Make a donation in my name, will you? To Broadway Cares, but don't say for Nate Corddry, write for hashtag sketches, not skits. That'd be great. I love all 3 of you, and thanks for the support. Glad you guys are spending a day watching this nonstop. Man. Eli Wallach was on that show. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, I could talk for hours, but I won't. I'm sure you have Christine Lottie as a guest. Is she after me? It's wild to even think back over that year of my life. Fucking bananas. So many more stories, but I'll keep those to myself. Thanks again, guys, and enjoy the watching. Happy watching. Sketches, not skits.
Just told CSI Miami to go fuck itself.
Watto, you're gonna hate this. Watto, you're gonna hate this so much.
What?
In the beginning, your first line got cut off.
What?
Back to 1.
Patrick,
we gotta
back
watch
to
the
1.
Corddry video again. Hang on.
Wait, I lost. Please set something
Watto.
What?
You're gonna hate this.
What?
Your audio wasn't working.
Whose fault is that? Not me. I'm
All
doing
right, back to 1. Back to 1.
Back to 1.
Go to VTR. All
3,
right.
2, 1.
Sounds like Nate Corddry. Just told CSI Miami to go fuck itself. Yeah! Won't get fooled again.
That was worth it.
He made that comment in the first 45 seconds of his video. I messaged you in the private chat. I said, cut back to me full screen. I have a hot bit locked and loaded.
You did me dirty.
No.
Dirty.
No.
Patrick, in what way did you not do him dirty?
Patrick, answer me this. Did you do me clean?
Did I make StreamYard?
Did you do me clean?
I didn't do you. I did not do you clean. I'm sorry.
You can't say you did me clean. You cannot say it with a straight face. And you know what? For that, Patrick, I'll tell you, I won't get fooled again.
No, guys.
No, Watto, I don't know. I was going. The comments are coming so fast and furious now, but I saw one person say, "I don't get it." Can you contextualize for those people who don't what the joke is? I feel like it's for someone who doesn't understand the reference.
Yeah.
Would you mind putting me in full screen again?
Not at all.
And then I have something to say after this, but go ahead.
It's almost like the joke is that at the beginning of every episode of CSI Miami, David Caruso looks off into the distance and then puts on his sunglasses and then says something dramatic. And then, you won't get fooled again!
My favorite detail is that your leg is your guitar.
Of course, I'm like RoboCop, except it's not a gun in my leg. It's my leg is a guitar.
Hey, George.
Yep.
Have you ever hosted Saturday Night Live?
No.
Hey, Watto.
Yes.
Have you ever hosted Saturday Night Live?
I wish. I told you, I submit a packet every season, and I never can get through.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like in the 20 timers club on Mad TV, but I've never been able to break through on SNL. Why do you ask?
Well, this episode of Studio 60 is hosted by Jenna Fisher.
Of course.
And this is one of the episodes where you get to see a musical guest. And I was just like, since we've never hosted a show like that, we never get to like practice introducing musical guests. I'm just trying to think of fun bits that we can do while we're watching this show.
Oh, it is a fun bit, Patrick. That almost makes up for you doing Watto so dirty.
Yeah.
So dirty.
Okay, so can we try it?
I'm willing to try it.
Okay, so this episode,
and let's say right off the bat, no Adrian Brody style mishaps. No chicanery. This is no time for a Rastaman character. Your job is to get the musical guest on with the show.
So this episode is Jenna Fisher and musical guest Granbell Fisher.
Okay.
So can we each practice saying either ladies and gentlemen Granbell Fisher or ladies and gentlemen once again Granbell Fisher?
Sure.
We'll do Watto up first.
Ladies and gentlemen, Granbell Fisher.
Once again, Granbell Fisher.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Granbell Fisher. Oh no. I think he froze.
Patrick,
Oh my gosh, are they on yet? No, they're on.
Yes, you're on.
I think we're on.
You're on.
Can you guys?
Patrick, did you do Granbell Fisher dirty?
I didn't do Granbell Fisher dirty.
Do him dirty.
All right, everybody, we're gonna have to pick that up again. Let's go back to one.
All right, we're gonna go back to one.
And Patrick, you might want to grab a bar of soap.
Okay, let's take it from the top of Watto.
Jesse, why don't you refresh your stream and then we'll try this again. All right, we're gonna go for Watto.
In 3, 2, 1.
Sounds good.
Once again, Granbell Fisher.
Once again, Granbell Fisher.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Granbell Fisher. Let's do a second round just to get it right.
Some of us got this right the first time.
Just keep trying it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Granbell Fisher.
Once again, Granbell Fisher.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Granville Fisher.
I'm not Granville Fisher. What has gone wrong here? Patrick, you have done
We're
us
gonna,
all.
hey, no, we're going to keep doing this for a minute. Watto, maybe I'm stalling for time. Keep going.
Once again, Patrick has done us all dirty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick has done us all dirty.
Once again, Granville Fisher.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, lose the mask. It's video, for crying out loud. All right, fine. Thanks, guys, for having me. Watto, Patrick, George.
Hello.
Okay. Can everyone hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Woo!
Well, there that goes. Baby, she's a hate and slamming doors, and the problem is a man. He just don't understand. She's needing him, but he's outside wondering why. And now we locked out to finally find a baby that's on different kinds of crazy. Just like him, when you locked down, who's gonna let you in? Then later on, crazy came through the door and said, life is short and I'm sorry, I love you to death, damn. Johnny Carson died. And then they both start jumping around. Baby and her friends are all hanging out. It's amazing how everyone can feel. You're born, you live, and you're gone. Oh, it's all too real. She shine like a halo light and it burns the whole place down. He's chasing the time of his life and it's going on right now. Let it shine, let it ride, crash and burn. Just another night for the lonely, living out love as war. They can't remember what they're fighting for. She shine like a halo light and it burns the whole place down. He's chasing the time of his life and he's going on right now. Let it shine, let it ride, crash and burn. Not sure if you heard that. Were we connected?
We heard it.
I absolutely heard it. Lovely,
goodness.
lovely tribute to John
Oh,
Williams
George,
at the end. That
it's
was just,
good to see you, George. Good
Oh,
to
it's
see
great
you,
to
Pat.
see you,
Watto.
How are you? Watto.
What's happening, guys?
Watto will be back in a second. I'm sure. That was so great. Thank you for doing that.
that was really
Thank you,
what a dream come true. That was so beautiful. It's beautiful hearing the song on the episode. And it was such a treat to hear it as part of this live stream. How are you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm hanging out here in Southwest Ohio, what we call Elm Street Creative Studios. We also call it the Monster Trap. But now I'm hanging out at my Studio 60 experience, guys. You know, it was such a unique experience. It was one of those things. It came out of nowhere, right? I had a demo. I don't even think an album was hardly out yet. And I think it might have got across Aaron Sorkin's desk or somebody's. And somehow I just got the call. But there is a little side note. I know you guys have been at it all day. I've been tuning in. I just want to say thank you. This Broadway Cares thing's really near and dear to me, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But the day of the set, I was hanging out and Sorkin was there, and I'm just talking to him all day and like, hey, you know, I want to be a writer, you know, and I got movie ideas and we do this and we got a little production company, and you know, I even signed him a CD, and I was kind of getting all the philosophical advice you could get from a guy like that, right? Well, the end of the day happened, and I get a call. I think it was 1 or 2 days later. The guy wasn't Aaron Sorkin. It wasn't Aaron Sorkin. It was some stand-in guy for some actor that was supposed to, I don't know who he was standing, but it's happened to this guy all the time. But I'm literally talking to this guy saying, hey, man, like this is, you know, I mean, he had to have known. You know what I mean? I mean, I was
Stolen valor.
Questions, and he took the CD. I signed it personal. So anyhow, that's my Studio 60 story. I kind of came out there with my tail between the legs, but Aaron did get the CD, so I heard, and I don't really know the backstory of how I got there, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that guy. I mean, I don't know what he's up to now, but yeah, he should have let me know, I guess. So, anyhow, but that's my Studio 60 thing.
What a great.
Were you guys able to hear that song?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
Oh, there's Watto.
There he is.
Sorry, people are saying in the comments that great to see you. People are saying in the chat that I went to go take a dump, which is not true. Absolutely not true. I went to go pee pee, but I kept my headphones in and I heard your song and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I had a lot of coffee, so I did that a little bit earlier. So
yeah,
everybody in the Dakotas with their family. Everybody in the Dakotas, okay, Watto?
Oh, I miss communication here. I don't live in the Dakotas. I live in the building, the Dakota on Central Park West.
I think he was saying, like, is everyone in the Dakota? Is everyone in the Dakotas okay? Like, he was like,
oh, yeah, Yoko's fine. Everyone else left.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay,
months
I
ago.
understand. That.
We're the only 2 people left in the building. Everyone else went up to the Hamptons.
wow. Now, Jesse, how are you doing during this pandemic? How is that going for you?
It's going good. You know, I tell you what, fellas, I'll give you the short version, but I lost half a left lung between now and Studio 60. So I've been isolated. You know, I kind of been keeping to myself, working on my things that I work on. But I've been great. You know, to tell you the truth, I've honestly been thriving. You know, I'm worried for my restaurant friends and a lot of people, you know, whose businesses are affected. But what you guys are doing really moves me, you know, and what we do here in Elm Street, you know, in our small town in Ohio is sling light, right? Called the Light Slinger. And we got all these things going on. Well, you guys have been doing this. And I thought it would be kind of fun here, you know, if we could do a little bit something. So Broadway and theater is so important to me. You know, it changed my life. I'm from a town of 2,000, you know, and the first time I ever sort of got first, you know, I played a little sports, wanted to be a skater, you know, all these things, you know. But then one time I got the audition for music theater and I came in and I got the lead. You know, it was that moment you walk into school and your name was top of the list. And I thought, there it is, you know, the thing that's going to fill my passion forever. Well, one of the things that caught my eye with music theater was a writer named Jonathan Larson. And he was a writer that did a musical called Rent. And I just thought it was a fantastic musical. I had the cassettes. I listened to it, you know, while I was sleeping, you know, when I was growing up and all that. And but I've never heard someone use their art and their theater in such a way that was obviously so raw, so educational, and just filled with cause. You know, it was really, really cool. And that's what I see you guys doing with your stuff. So I thought, well, it's Broadway Cares, right? Where we need to raise money. I figured you guys, from seeing your musical content I saw the last couple of days, have some musicality in you.
True.
And I figured maybe we could rock one of these songs and we'll sing it out. I appreciate you guys having me, but maybe if you know this one a little bit, we'll give it our best shot and hopefully it'll come through. My connection's a little shaky here, but there's this little song. Does that sound familiar at all? You guys know that one?
Oh,
yeah.
Seasons of
Yeah.
Love.
Yes.
Yeah.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments so deep.
525,600 minutes.
How do you measure a
You're
year?
a year.
Is everybody cool with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
In daylight,
Light,
in
in
sunset,
sunset,
in
in
midnight,
midnight,
cups
with
of
cups of
coffee,
coffee
in inches,
inches,
in miles, and
laughter and strife.
In
525,600
minutes. How do you
How do you
measure
measure
a year in
life?
About
Love, She burned the way that she died. Story never ends. My love trends.
Seasons of love. Seasons of Thank you guys. And thank you so much for doing that for Broadway Cares. I hope that translated. I saw everybody just going for it. So we'll see what happens.
So, guys, what we're saying is if you enjoyed that, you got to be a little $4 friend. You got to send us a little bit of scratch.
Yeah. Why? And if you can afford it, why not send
525,600. What your currency is?
Yeah.
We'll take whatever.
Yeah.
But let's, you know what? $4, $5, $10, whatever you got, let's give it, because I want us to hit that goal. And I also want, let's say by the end of this, the number right now for the bag is $275. If anyone wants to up it, we can go for it. The Studio 60 wrap gift bag from Nada Disney, $275 right now.
And Patrick, you are currently the high bidder.
I am currently the highest bidder. If anyone wants to outbid me, fucking bring it on, baby.
Patrick, can I share with them what you said to me? Yep. I didn't know what the bidding item was. Yeah. Patrick said we have something to auction, and he said, but I'm gonna win it. So let's see. Is them's fighting words, right?
Them's fighting words. If anyone wants to go higher, yeah. Come on.
Yeah. And Patrick, do we have a total so far? Because we said one of our goals was to try to see if we could get to 60 guests.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not going to get to 60 guests, but
not with that attitude, mister.
Well, not with that attitude. You have to be afraid to get fired.
We still have some videos coming in, so I don't want to give you the number just yet, and then I will count it out.
Where is bidding right now on the bag?
The bidding is $275 right now.
I'd like to place a bid.
You'd like to what?
Oh no!
I'd like to place a bid.
What's your bid, Watto?
$300.
I mean, I'll go to $325.
You will. What would you do if I went to $326?
I'll go to $327.
No.
Patrick. Patrick, what would you do if I went to 333?
I mean, I'll go to 334, Watto. I have a number that I'm willing to go up to, Watto.
Ooh, this is the first I've heard of a weakness.
Patrick, then what would you do if I went up to 349?
I'll go to 350, Watto. Wait, Spinny Long also says 350. I'm hoping that's a bid because it is now.
I think my bids aren't serious.
I'll go to 350, Watto. I'll go to 350.
No, now Spinny Long has gone to 350.
Okay, I'll go to 351. I'll go to 351, Watto.
Are you going to take that lying down, Spinny Long?
Jesse, has Aaron Sorkin ever heard your fake Aaron Sorkin story? Is he aware that of this imposter who fooled you? I feel like he would love that.
And I don't know if that guy ended up getting arrested. But genuinely, they said that had happened many times to this guy. But I genuinely, when I say that I was having like kind of an intimate conversation with who I thought was Aaron Sorkin, it was intimate. I mean, it was very. Why this guy didn't just give it up was just very strange after it all. But he did get the CD. One of these days, hopefully, I'll run into him and I'll be able to ask him, and really just how I got the tune, because it's one thing to write a song, and then I'm from really a small one-stoplight kind of town here in Ohio. And then you got Matthew Perry doing Oxycontin to your song on this show, or taking pills, So it was just a unique thing, and for such a guy that's so entrenched in his writing, to connect with some piece of art like mine, I was very flattered. I was young at the time, I was probably 25 then. I'm 38 now. It was my first big kind of record deal, but it was almost all kind of too big and fast to even take it in. I couldn't really watch it because I missed it on TV, and then we were on the road all the time, and then it kind of vanished as a show, and there were DVDs, but this is amazing, and I'm glad that you guys have given it the time all day, and I hope you've had the 7th inning stretch, where you've got
that's really, coming.
Really stretch it out,
that's
because
still ahead of us.
We didn't do that.
I saw you this morning getting coffee, and now I'm having coffee to stay up to talk to you.
Yeah.
And but man, I just think what you guys are doing is so important. Again, to turn it back to the
yeah, it's been a long day, but I think we're doing okay, right?
Yeah, I think we're doing well.
I think we're doing pretty well. I can't tell if we lost Jesse or not.
He's just thinking. No, he's just thinking.
He's just thinking. That's what we'll say.
Can I say I've been very confused because we did that song together. It was such a nice tribute to Jonathan Larson and his work, and it reminds me the healing power of art in a time like this. But I feel like I look at the news and people are so against that show because I keep on seeing people demand a rent freeze. I don't understand why they want to freeze all productions of Rent.
That's true. Jesse, are you there? You are.
Jesse's back.
Jesse's on audio only right now.
Okay, I can hear audio only, so that's okay. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
This is very. It's like Obi-Wan at the end of A New Hope. Yeah. We just hear you and feel your presence.
Now, Jesse, I want to bring something back from a little bit earlier very quickly. It's time for another installment.
Abigail Bread Challenge.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
You made a graphic.
Talk about a little twist.
Talk about a little twist. Now,
A little twist.
let's explain this to Jesse. Jesse, Abigail, why don't you explain this to Jesse?
I would so love to. By the way, this one was beautiful. So apparently there's a thing where there's a bet that. Whoa. Okay. Hello.
Keep explaining.
You can't eat 2 slices of white bread in under 1 minute.
Yeah.
And they used to do this bet on the set of Studio 60 for $100. And everyone thought they could do it, and no one could do it. And I donated a sufficient amount of money to be able to try with these guys to do it, and I couldn't. And then thought that
look, and let's make it clear. That's very much our show-wide policy. If you donate enough money, you're allowed to publicly fail alongside us. That is a rule we have here on the George Lucas
And
Talk
I'm
Show.
used to privately failing, and so I loved that.
So Abigail went and got some regular white bread.
Yeah, just like real, like, you know. I will say I've tried it 3 or 4 times and haven't been successful yet.
Okay.
But
well, I have a timer if you want to put this full screen.
Hello.
Minutes. Jar Jar's tongue is the second hand.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Right. Sure.
Okay, George. Let's.
I'm really sorry.
Okay, Abigail, are you ready to go?
I'm really nervous. I mean,
this is high stakes.
No, I feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get in your head, Abigail, but you should be terrified right now.
15 seconds.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. My heart is beating really quickly.
10 seconds.
Okay, so I'm starting at the 12?
Yeah.
Yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bread.
And Jesse, any musical accompaniment you want to add to this? Maybe to relax Abigail.
Don't make her laugh, George. She's taking sort of a squirrel approach.
I think Jesse might be frozen.
Piece. Okay. I mean, I feel like this act deserves silent respect.
Halfway there.
Keep going. Don't think about it.
You got this.
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 10, 9,
go.
8,
7,
6,
4,
5.
Go.
I still
George,
think it's not a minute yet. I still think she can do it.
Keep going. Keep going.
George, I would wager you did her dirty because the watch is too funny. It's an obstruction. This watch is too funny. It's impossible not to start laughing.
This is the most accurate watch they've ever made.
It's the most comedy ever put into a watch.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
Of course.
So I was taking this seriously, and I looked up how to eat bread quickly. And one thing I saw was a link from like a Kimmel episode with him and me, and they talk about eating one piece of bread in 1 minute, which is bullshit because anyone can do that.
Anyone can do
You know, and it's like George Clooney has enough. Like you don't need to like baby him in that way, I feel like.
It feels like a classic Clooney prank. He's trying to make us think
He is
that
a
it's
prankster.
difficult than it is. Anyone can do that.
Prankster.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more of a prankster. So anyway.
Thanks so much,
Well,
Abigail.
Abigail,
Yeah.
Since you did that research, I had a question for you. Are you excited about Halloween?
Halloween is very spooky.
Yeah.
And
I think
so-
we're just looking for a yes or no, Abigail.
I like costumes.
That's
No?
great.
Oh, I thought George was going for something.
I like costumes, but I don't like the scary part.
Right.
Why do you ask?
Do you like the candy?
Sure.
Because I hate to tell you that Watto and Patrick and I ate all of your Halloween candy this year.
No, you didn't. No, fuck. No, I had been. Are you kidding?
No, I'm very serious.
No, but I was. It's like been a really hard year, and I was.
Abigail, I don't know what to tell you, but
That's like the one.
we
that's
did you
the
dirty.
One thing.
We
That's the
did
one
you
thing I
dirty.
was looking forward to.
We ate the candy.
Abigail, the worst part of this stream is
Yeah.
there are 2 people who are famously diabetic on this stream.
Yes.
Yeah. Famously.
You?
George and I, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. You never talk about.
Sometimes.
It's not famously. I mean, it's like
And
not. Oh, okay.
Not to bail on this bit, which is going really well, but it did occur to me that if he tries that Halloween bit this year, it will break my heart if one of the children says, 2020 has been a really hard year. Why did you eat my candy? That's just about the most devastating response I can imagine a child saying. Really? But 2020 has been such a hard year, Jimmy.
Abigail, you apologized for not completing the bread challenge, and I want you to take back your apology. You do not owe us an apology. In fact, you are owed 2 apologies. One from George, one from the Jar Jar watch.
Okay. Can the watch talk?
Wait, what am I apologizing for?
Using the watch.
For using the watch. And then the watch has to apologize for being too funny.
All right. I'm sorry I used the watch. And Misa's sorry that Misa's so funny.
I really now we need to apologize for that. You know?
Even the apology is funny. It's too funny to watch.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that Luke Skywalker had to apologize because he lost a fight with his dad.
No.
He tried and he did his best. And right now, this is the beginning of the hero's journey, not the end of it, Abigail.
Wait, but that makes you Darth Vader, no?
No, that makes the bread Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And you're not fighting me, you're fighting the bread.
You came closer to winning than Luke did, and you were facing a much tougher enemy.
I both my hands.
Watch. Yeah. You have both your hands.
Yeah.
You are going to get this, Abigail. We're not going to give up on you. You don't give up on this.
Come back during the finale. Try it again.
The finale of this?
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna be here, so yeah.
Great. We'll see you in a couple hours then.
No, wait.
Find the least funny watch imaginable.
I might just maybe I should close my eyes. I don't know. You guys are like inherently funny. So
Thank you so much. All right. We'll see you in a little bit.
Jesse, thank you for accompanying that. That was some beautiful musical accompaniment for that bread challenge.
Well, I missed a lot of that. I had a bad connection, but I tried my best, George. So.
Yeah, but ultimately the connection that we're making is a fine one because I think we're becoming friends.
This is
I think so too. Yes. It's great. It's fantastic to see what you guys are doing. Planet's Scum Live. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Look, the Wi-Fi might have been giving you some trouble.
Yes.
But emotionally, we're on a 5G network right now.
That's right.
My extra hands over here. I'm loving it.
My Wi-Fi.
My Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Let's start KNR part 1. We keep talking to Jesse for a few minutes, but I just want to keep this rolling.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna press play in 1, 2, 3.
KNR part 1.
Yeah. Now, Jesse, tell us about, because you were on Kimmel too. You did Kimmel.
Yeah.
How was that? What was that like?
It was incredible. We were living in Valley Village at the time, Coldwater and Burbank, for anybody out there in Los Angeles. I was on a little street called Martha Street. And what was unique about Kimmel was me and my band, Josh Krajic band. He was the guy that actually got second on X Factor, the second season, right? Incredible guy. If you haven't heard of him, just check him out. He is the man. But they backed me up. They're boys of mine from Ohio. Went over there in the late afternoon, and then we were back home by 8 o'clock, and we were like, what did we just do? If I had to compare it for anybody watching, what's it like to be on one of those shows? Really, it was just like big bright lights being right in your eyes. I mean, you couldn't see anybody, but you knew everybody was watching. And it was good. Billy Ray Cyrus was the guest there. And I had actually ran into Billy a couple times. Actually ended up writing a song sort of haphazardly for Miley Cyrus. That's on her first album, Breakout, a song called Simple Song. And we had a song on Grey's Anatomy, toured with Brandy Carlisle, played awesome festivals like Bonnaroo, just incredible stuff. So, but man, that and kind of what I'm up to now is I actually just finished a record. I got a record out now, but I grew up in a funeral home. For over 100 years. My family's owned and operated a funeral home here. And I got together with the guy who did my first big record that I did, Crash and Burn. And I just got back from LA. I mean, it's been a few months now, but we did it at Sunset Sound with The Doors, Zeppelin, same room that Prince did Purple Rain. But the album is called The Undertaker's Kid. And each song is about a particular body that I picked up or an experience that I had emotionally growing up in that industry. So, yeah, the music's kind of alive. And for you guys to reach out and this all kind of happen all at once is just, yeah, it's a true synergy. I went through a lot of health issues and things. And, man, I'm just back. And, yeah, I'm so glad to have connected. So, yeah, it was the long answer. So.
That's great. Well, I do feel like that's, you know, there are so many things that are impossible to do and still be safe, and people are figuring out some of those things. But I do feel like it's been a very exciting year for music. I feel like the way that musicians are being able to, you can't tour, but writing new music, recording music, there's things that are, it's interesting to see people really stepping up and figuring out ways to still be expressive and creative this year, you know?
100%, you know, and it's encouraging, and I'm encouraged. You know, this is the communication revolution, you know, and we're all learning a lot of each other, and it's going to take some time. But I think also important right now, you know, it's what's fun, I think, for guys like yourself and George and WATTO. I mean, you guys have been creative forces, you know, in this world for a long time.
Hell yeah.
But for me, you know, I get to do it all. You know, I get to direct. I actually getting ready to launch my own sort of Nickelodeon and ranch.com. And but that's going to be my curated work of where I've done it all, but now technology and this platform is, yes. So I'm really going to settle into the craft, and I do see that too, George.
And what was that?
You know,
my sound dropped out for a second. What was that
I
web?
think it'll create that instinct like you had to make.
Patrick.
There was no world where that was me.
I'm going to send you a bar of soap.
Patrick, did you sever that connection with your razor?
Bryson and Dave, make sure you're paying attention when he comes back and bring him back in.
Oh boy. Watch him pass the buck.
Patrick, I didn't know you had the garden because there's no other explanation as to where you would get so much dirt.
Jesse, what was the website you were mentioning at the end? Because the sound started to drop out.
Jesse's back and he's looking for revenge.
Jesse, what was that website?
Oh, that's okay. Oh, it's all right. I just thought I heard something outside.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, it'll eventually be friedpicklesandranch.com.
Fried Pickles
okay,
and
coming,
Ranch?
But it's not live yet. But if you want to find me, you find you guys, and we're connected.
Right.
And you guys, yeah, you find. Yep, friedpicklesandranch.com. Be looking for that.
So it's not there yet, but people just keep hitting refresh. Keep hitting refresh until it
Oh, my goodness.
up.
I'm seeing some.
Oh, boy. He's really making. Patrick
I see,
will make
head shaver.
art on his head. Yeah. He's growing into be quite an artist. I think this might be Patrick's medium. The top of his own head.
I like it.
Yeah, maybe become a novelty head shaver.
I still don't know. I don't know from what angle he's trying to shave S60 into his head. I'm still not sure what angle it's oriented at.
I don't see it yet.
It looks like a magic eye.
Something's happening, most certainly, but I don't know what it is.
I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot the zero.
Patrick, how obsessed are you with this show that you could forget the zero in Studio 60? You just put Studio 6?
Studio 6!
Patrick, think about what you just said. You forgot the zero in Studio 60?
Zero.
Not for nothing, which is the equivalent of zero. Oh boy, this is it's still so compelling to watch.
It's great television, absolutely.
Put a little zero on there somewhere, Patrick.
Yeah, just fit a little zero.
Wow, look, that wasn't so hard, was it? Look at that little zero. It's not easy.
We're gonna have to redo this head shave. Can we go back to 1?
Yeah, can we reset? We're going to have to do a reset.
All right, and 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick shaving his head.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick shaves his head.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick shaving his head.
Once again, Patrick shaving his head.
Jesse, a little known fact about Patrick is he'll shave any part of his scalp, but he won't trim his beard.
I think I might just leave it like
He's
this.
hiding something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might just leave it like this.
That's good. Oh, so nice. Now,
here we go. Look. S60.
I mean, if you say so, man.
Yeah.
Is it backwards?
Maybe I'm looking in a mirror, so maybe.
Oh, Patrick, you tried your best.
Ultimately, you did yourself dirtiest of all.
Well, I like the way things are lining up now that Patrick and Jesse both have the same. They both have Quibi framing.
Oh.
That's lined up beautifully.
Yes.
Patrick. Patrick, are you there? Patrick, why don't you try to be the bottom half of Jesse? Like Jesse will be head and shoulders, and you try to be the rest of Jesse.
Sure.
Is that so hard?
Yeah, hang on 1 second.
He's going to try to sneak in a little nap here.
I want to take this moment to thank everyone who chose to watch this instead of the Emmys.
What are we looking at now, Patrick?
This is my body covered in a towel.
All right. Say it like you're proud, Patrick.
This is my body covered in a towel, George.
That's it. That's it. Be proud of your body.
I am.
Now, Patrick, put a little stank on it. One more time. Let's get the clean pick of that line with a little stank on it.
This is my body covered in a towel, George.
Whoa. Too stanky. Too stanky. Pull it back.
Too stanky. Too stanky. This is my body covered in a towel, George.
Try it without saying my name so we can use it if we're saying it. Make it more universal.
This is my body covered in a towel.
It's great. All right.
Check the gate on that one. Should we check the gate? On the clean gate, I think we're moving on, right?
Great.
Yeah, we're moving on.
Okay, moving on. Moving on, everybody. We got that.
All right, now, for those of you who are following along, we've fully entered into the hospital phase of the final 4 episodes. Patrick, you're back.
I'm back, baby.
Funny, with the hat on, you look the same as before. It's like nothing ever happened.
Hard reset.
Hard reset.
Patrick, hat wear.
Yeah.
Hat wear. Shaves more.
Now, Jesse, had you watched Studio 6 before being on it?
Studio 6?
Studio 6. Yeah, that's what we're calling it now. Because, I'm sorry, I was reading off your head.
We now need to retcon the name of the show in order to make your head better.
Patrick, I tried to help you, and you just can't help yourself, can you?
You're doing yourself dirty like a fucking garbage pail kid, man. You're in the mud. You're flopping around like Pigpen. You got flies, dirt bubbling around you. Like fucking Pigpen, man.
Pat Pig Oink Oink. He doesn't like that one at all. He didn't like that one at all.
Pat Pig Oink Oink.
Pat Pig Oink Oink.
Pat Pig Oink Oink. And Jesse agrees. Jesse agrees that it is in fact Pat Pig Oink Oink because you did yourself the dirtiest of all.
That nickname was Jesse tested and Watto approved.
Yes.
Jesse, can I ask you a question since you're sitting at your piano right now?
Yes.
What do you think a theme song to the George Lucas Talk Show sounds like?
Great question.
Oh. My goodness. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Today, it could be.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Say again.
No, I was gonna say I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I did a little bit.
Oh no, that's okay. The spot's all right. Can you guys hear me in like as a pretty clean? Because it's I got a there. I'm kind of just doing the audio. Can you hear that better?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I mean, when you get into it, you gotta. I mean, you can always go into something, you know. I think this is the one right here, though.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
That's good. That's good. No,
good. We got it in one, folks. Print.
Print.
That was good.
Make the CDs. Make the CD. Make the laser disc.
Yeah,
that's right.
George, are you upset about Laserdisc not sort of being around? Oh wait, did we lose him?
No, I'm right here. No, I mean I like Laserdisc, but I don't. You know, digital technology keeps evolving, and you know, Blu-ray is better than DVD, and DVD is better than Laserdisc. I'm always sort of, you know, whatever the newest format is, the more digital, the better. I'm excited about I think 4K is great. I'd love it if we got up to 1000K. Just get more Ks in there.
Yeah, I agree with that, George.
Yeah.
Do you think that people will collect VHS? Do you think people will collect VHS like they do baseball cards? I mean, I know some do, but I feel like that's going to be more of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with analog technology, the physical formats they're very fragile. And, you know, I feel like, you know, at this point we've made our deal that we're gonna accept the cloud, and we just have to hope that the cloud is always there with all of our digital information, you know? We just have to hope. You know? Patrick, are you trying to set your beard on fire?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you doing, Patrick?
What are you doing, Patrick?
Patrick, what's your fucking deal, Patrick?
I think I'm going to say this. If people don't donate money, I'm going to set my beard on fire.
Don't.
Patrick,
George,
that's not. Yes, Jesse.
No.
Jesse. What were you saying? Jesse.
I want to say to you, Patrick, when we implored you to not be afraid of getting fired, this is not what we meant.
Mm.
Do not twist our words in this way.
Patrick, you're dropping the D at the end. We never told you that in order to be a good producer, you had to not be afraid of getting fire.
No.
George, here's what I need, George.
Be very afraid of fire. Be appropriately afraid of fire.
Here's what I need, George.
What?
I need people to donate like they haven't donated before.
Are you talking about $6 friends?
I'm saying $6 friends. I think we need some $6 friends. Let's see this. I'm gonna pop in my bid for that bag since it seems like WATTO is dropping out.
No, I'm not.
WATTO don't go high. WATTO don't go high.
I'm bidding $351.
I already did that.
Oh, then I'm bidding $352.
Jesse, have you seen this bag? They're bidding on a large leather bag that has an embossed Studio 6 logo on it.
I think we might have lost Jesse again. Now, WATTO, what would you do if I just said, okay?
He'd buy it. He'd buy the bag. You kidding me? It's a great bag.
I did not see that. That sounds pretty nice.
I would stare you down without flinching, because I don't think you're going to do that, are you, Patrick? I don't think you'll let this bag get away. Over a measly $1, I don't think you're going to do it.
Oh. You guys can hear me. I can't hear you. But that's all right. Everybody should buy that bag.
Everyone should buy the bag. You're not going to let that bag get away, Patrick. You're not going to let that bag get away. How much are you willing to spend for that bag?
Oh, I see what this is. Yeah.
Hey, WATTO.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Patrick. Look into your heart. Look into your heart, Patrick. You're not going to let this bag slip away over one measly $1.
Oh, wow. Hey, WATTO, Andy Blandy's saying 362.01.
Well, Andy Blandy has it then.
363.
Oh, Patrick's back in the game, is he?
Is WATTO back in the game?
No, of course not. Too rich for my blood. You guys have fun. I think you just won yourself a bag of 363, right?
Yeah, I probably would have donated something like that anyways. My mom's telling me to stop. That's real. Hey, WATTO.
Maybe if your mom wants you to stop, she should outbid you.
That's true. That's true. You want me to ask her? I'll text her right now. Do you want to outbid me?
It's not too early to start buying Christmas presents for little Pat.
Julie, this is your chance, Julie.
Julie, get your holiday shopping done all in one live stream. It's one-stop shopping.
Did we lose Jesse?
I think we did. But I'm sure he'll be back 5 more times.
Did we? Who won the bag? Who won the bag, babies?
Well, I mean, it's in Pat's court right now, but there might be a new late-breaking bidder. Pat's mom.
What's happening with Tom's brother?
He's in Afghanistan.
He's in Afghanistan. Have you not heard? Pat, are we stuck? Are we stuck at 362?
I think we're stuck at 362.
Jesse. Hello, Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you enjoy seltzer?
I do.
Do you have a brand preference? Do you like?
You know, we got LaCroix. I've got this. We're talking. This is the key lime one, which I love. Key lime. I love key lime pie and black coffee. Amazing. But this key lime seltzer, I don't know. I'm not too much of a fan.
Okay.
Is it too whimsical a flavor for a seltzer?
It's like, it's got the right bite. And then right at the last little second, it's a little too sweet. I don't know. Just something doesn't settle right with me. So
yeah, I like that. I like that use of the choice of word there, bite, because I think that's the most important. I think what seltzer, you know, for me is a substitute for a soda. And the bite, what you lose in the sweetness or the flavor of a soda, it has to be compensated for in the fierceness of the bubble. The carbonation needs to really put up a fight, you know?
Yeah. I think it's proven that, you know, seltzer, it lasts probably about 66 seconds, you know, and it's pretty worthless after that. So.
Yeah, a flat seltzer is a disturbingly poor beverage.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder if you're being tricked, if the bubbles are a trick and what you're really drinking is just not a good drink.
My life philosophy is live every 66 seconds of your life like you just opened a can of seltzer.
There are a few things.
I've heard that.
There are a few minor things that are as casually depressing as when you forget that you've opened a seltzer and you discover it too late.
Yeah, I had that experience the other day where I think I got a 2-day, you know, one that had been sitting by the desk or something, you know, and maybe, I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, it was definitely warmer than room temperature somehow. And those are quite disturbing, you know?
Yeah.
I want to say we're so close to 8,000, guys. If 24 of you donate $4, we will get to 8,000.
So I don't know if could I maybe put something out there, maybe help make money?
Here we go.
I've got you guys were talking about everybody wanted to see a dog earlier in an interview.
Yeah.
I have a dog.
Okay.
It's a dog that actually talks. Okay.
All right. This sounds
interesting. It's a dog that can actually say, "I love you." So
okay.
Should I try it?
Well,
don't give
it away. Don't give it away till we get the money.
We're saying this.
Okay.
$8,000. It's like less than $100. George puts on a new hat, and we get the Grand Bell dog.
And because I think, and I'm not crazy about this dialogue, but I think the fans might like it. Would it be possible that what's your dog's name?
His name's Balin, Balon, like in Lord of the Rings, but that wasn't why. But it just happens. Yeah.
That's not why. Why, if not Lord of the Rings, why is it Balin?
Well, I mean, I think subconsciously I was on the way to get him, to be honest, and I realized I didn't have a name, and it just sort of popped in my head. So I think, yes, from there in my subconscious, but it wasn't sort of intentional. Like, that's my character is all I'm saying.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So could you get Balin? If Balin can say, "I love you," would you be willing to, that's the Carrie Fisher line. Then you respond by saying, "I know," which is the Harrison Ford, the Han Solo line from Empire Strikes Back.
Of course. Yeah.
Because that would be
fuzzball.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How often do we get to see scenes recreated from Empire Strikes Back with a dog and a person?
Yeah.
Right. And I think as I do it, because I got to make sure I'm doing like something like, you know, like, I know.
Ooh.
He's
kind of. Right.
Patrick, he's no good to me dead.
That's good. I do want to know this. I wanted to go look at the Studio 60 trivia page to see if anything got up.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Torrance has said that he believes by 2020 that his character of Dylan Killington is dead.
Wow.
So
I love that beliefs of the cast members are now official trivia.
So let's keep adding some more trivia that you guys learned today to the Studio 60 IMDb page.
We learned a lot today. Also, I want for people who are looking for a project, let's make some GIFs. Let's flood Jiffy with Studio 60 Jiffies.
Yeah. Did we lose Watto?
No, Watto's right there. Watto, you.
I'm right there. I'm right there. I'm right there. Patrick?
Yeah, Watto.
Look me in the eyes.
Hi, Watto.
Patrick?
Yeah, hi, Watto.
I want you to hold your finger up to the screen and touch mine. And look at me in the eyes as we touch fingers.
Yep.
Get closer to the screen. Get closer to the screen.
Give me your finger. We're not touching.
Fingers right here. I was waiting for you to be there. Patrick?
Yeah.
I'll be right here.
Thank you, Anna.
You're almost there. Yeah, now you're going the right way. Now just push
You're close. You're so close. Oh, no. Too far.
Oh, that felt good.
Boy.
Sorry.
Let's see.
My delay, I have a 3-4 second delay.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Great, Jesse.
Now, guys, I'm going to say this. We're not at 8,000 yet, so I need a few more dollars before we get there, before we can see that dang talking dog.
Well, we can should I see the dog without him saying anything?
I don't know, because I feel like that's given them a lot.
Well, what are we at right now, Patrick?
I don't want to say, George. We need a few more dollars before we see it.
Well, sunshine's great disinfectant.
So let's give it 5 more minutes. If you guys can bid some more money in 5 more minutes, then we'll see if we can get there.
And it is important. You know? I mean, the one thing about the theaters being closed, along with restaurants, is that's a lot of people out of work. You know, and everybody watching this, you know, it is an important thing that everybody can do. And I just think of some of the moments that theaters, you know, that forever changed me. And I believe, you know, we'll get back to all that. But yeah, if you're thinking about it, help get them to 8,000. You know, let's do it.
Patrick, outside of your house, what's the closest little patch of grass? Is there a little patch of grass in front of your apartment building?
Not in front. I have some in the back, but it's kind of gross, and I wouldn't want to go in it.
Yeah, you got the little garden where you get all your dirt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what I'm wondering is, what's the amount? You can set it high if you want, Patrick. What's the amount for you to roll around in the mud like a little piggy?
I don't have mud.
Pig, oink, oink.
I don't have mud.
Bring a cup of water, pour it on the dirt, and take one roll in the mud.
Patrick, you can set it at $2 million.
$4 million.
$4 million. Put it on the spreadsheet.
Put it on the spreadsheet.
Okay.
This is the highest stretch goal that we've added so far.
This is 4 Fizzy Boy episodes.
So for $4 million, Patrick will go out in the mud and roll around like a little piggy.
And let's just say, Mark Cuban, if you're watching and you want to watch Patrick take a little piggy bath, all you got to do is drop a cool $2 million.
Wait, how would that get us to $4 million?
$4 million. Well, I'm just saying, I'm not going to ask him to put in the full 4. I'm hoping that if he put in 2, that it would incentivize other people to fill in the rest.
Yeah.
I just imagine him being very frustrated that he wasted $2 million as he watched it inch up to $2,200,000.
George, what about this? I mean, it'd probably be something like Shark Tank, where he goes, look, for me, I'd be willing to put in $2 million if another shark would meet me halfway. So he'd probably put up $2 million, and then he would throw it to Herjavec, Lori, Damon, Mr. Wonderful, Barbara, maybe even Rohan.
Guys,
I'm willing to meet him at 2.
Can I show a little video really quick?
Of course you can, Patrick.
Yes.
Now, in the Harriet dinner, we already saw one of Cody's fans. But there's some other people who are also fans of Cody.
What?
In fact, there's a pair of twins that are fans of Cody.
What?
Their name in real life is Chris Angeles and Alex Angeles. And they sent us a video, and I'm going to show it. I haven't seen it. I literally just got it in an email.
Hey George, Watto, and Patrick. I'm Chris Angeles. I'm Alex Angeles. And we were the twin fans of Cody on Studio 60. It was episode called Harriet Dinner Part 1. A long time ago. A fond memory was the director, Timothy Busfield, who's so energetic. And one of the scenes that we were in, we had to like kind of lead in the camera. And so it was like rolling, go twins! Action! It was like, and the way he said action, I was like, action! Like it was startling. Yeah. So we definitely had some energy right at the beginning. So yeah, it was really fun. And we hope that you are enjoying the Studio 60 marathon. And please do donate to Broadway Cares if you can. Broadway is taking a huge hit right now, obviously, and they're all missing performing for you, I'm sure, as much as you are missing seeing them perform. So please help support Broadway Cares so that that can happen again in full force when we are able to do it safely.
I want to say, at this point of the live stream, this many hours in, on this little sleep, you could literally tell me anything that happened on an episode of Studio 60 that I watched today, and I would believe you. I have no memory of those twins, but I went, sure, yes, I guess I watched that today. At this point, I can't differentiate between my internal thoughts, my dreams, my fears, the episodes of Studio 60. They're all blending together.
Patrick, do you see this little knife? This is the knife from the episode of Studio 60 where they write all the sketches into the side of a tree. Do you remember that?
My favorite. One of my favorites. One of my favorite episodes.
Oh, boy. Now, hang on. I also want to say that Chris, one of the twins, she's got a new album out that she wanted me to tell people about. It's on the ballot for the Grammys, and it's in the top 100 on the Americana albums chart. It's called The Siren, That Siren Hope. So if you look up Chris Angeles, you can find it. But she's very excited about that, which is great.
And Bryson or Dave, whoever's on, I see people in the comments who are trying to remind me of some of the things that happened in episodes we've watched today. So if we can spotlight some of those comments and put up some of the recaps that fans are very nobly providing us.
Watto, do you remember the episode where Matt is having trouble writing the script for this week's episode? And so he's eating some food, and then he starts taking his utensil, and he makes a little friend.
Of course, that's one of my top 4 favorite Studio 60 episodes, the one with Forky.
And then Forky goes on to host Studio 60?
I love it. Forky crushed. Forky crushed.
Who was the musical guest that week?
Fine Young Cannibals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. You remember this clip, right? Can I go full screen?
Yeah, sure. You got to do the voice, though.
Oh, I can't. I don't really do voices.
Try.
Once again, Fine Young Cannibals.
That's good, George. That was good. That's it.
Musical guest trash.
Otto, why didn't you say? Wait, is trash a band?
No, but I thought it was. You what? You want me to say garbage? You think that's funnier? Forky doesn't say garbage. He says trash. He's got a limited vocabulary. He just gained sentience. Learn the canon, motherfucker.
No, but if Forky was hosting Studio 60, I feel like they would book garbage. It's still a real show.
Thank you, George.
I think Forky would form a band called Trash specifically for his hosting appearance. And if we disagree on this, then so be it. We disagree.
So be it. It's just you and me, and we just disagree. There ain't no good guys. There ain't no bad guys. It's only you and me, and we just disagree.
Is this a real song, George?
Yeah, it's a real song.
All right. Are we ready to see where we're at right now?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the information from you.
Well,
Pat.
I need to make sure we got some real serious cash coming in first.
I want you to release the long-form spreadsheet. And now...
So 8,000. I put on a new hat. No?
So, Grand Bell, let's go get that dog.
Good to hear that dog.
Right.
So do I need to put on a new hat? Is that what? Do we do it?
You have to bear with my connection here.
Yep.
Oh. Hang on.
Oh, we got to get Jesse to wave. This will be fun. It's a good hat, George.
George, it's a great hat.
It's a good hat, George.
It's a good hat. Oh, we got to make more bags of popcorn, right?
Yeah. The popcorn. I've got to recover from that one popcorn kernel.
Hey, you guys did you guys get your new issue of Entertainment Weekly?
No, who's on the cover?
Baby Yoda.
What a sight for sore eyes.
Wow. Oh no, we lost Jesse.
Don't worry, he'll be back 12 more times.
Well, we have some more guests coming in a minute, so this will probably be the last go around for Jesse. We're doing good, guys. We're doing good on this fundraising.
We're doing great.
We are.
I don't think we're doing so well.
I'd love to get it to 101 now.
Of course. I want that table read more than anything.
I also.
That's the thing. I don't know that people who are watching now necessarily all know what's at stake.
Hang on. Jesse, have you found your dog?
He's got a Quibi. Let's see.
Whoa!
Whoa.
All right,
Whoa!
buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballin.
Hello, Ballin.
Here. Hey, buddy, can you say I love you for the people? It's for Broadway Cares, okay? And I need you to put it on. I know it's late. We've had a long day. Hey, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yep, Jesse, say your line. Say your line. Jesse, you got to say your line. Oh yeah, there it is.
Here, want to do it again? We can do it better. Let me get my.
Let's get it clean without.
Back to one. Back to one.
Back to one. Clean
Patrick, don't oink all over this one.
Don't hold your oink.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. All right. I love you. I know.
That's good. Now,
all right.
Now, Jess, this episode's wrapping up, but I want to get this from you. We've been having all of our guests wave like they're in their good nights for Studio 60.
Yes.
So, like, you're giving your good night waves. We'd love to see it.
Oh, this is...
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think you froze. Okay, you're back. You're back.
I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you to WATTO. Thank you to Mr. Lucas. Patrick, thank you so much, everybody. You know, all the great, movies I grew up watching, Goonies, Apocalypto, you're my #1 favorite movie of all time. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a dream come true, to be here on Studio 60. yeah, it's just amazing. And, you know, I hope, you know, Watto and Patrick can find a little more synergy, you know, and get back on that friendship thing, you know, and I'm not sure what happened there, but thank you. Just thank you for having me. Something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Now give us some waves. Give us some waves.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, good.
That's good. That's good. Jesse, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Jesse. This is so nice.
Yes, pleasure to meet you guys. I think your souls are amazing. George, your movies changed my life when I was a young one. Watto, you inspire me all the time. All the best to you. Of course, the Dakotas. Yes, and guys, Light Slinger, thank you so much. Broadway Cares, be sure to donate. Everybody at Studio 60, thank you for that piece of art and letting me be a part of it.
Thank you, Jesse.
Out. Later, guys.
See ya.
I do want to get in a plug for Strange Magic. It's still on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I also want to get in a plug for all of Jesse's stuff. Look him up online because he's doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now we'll hang out for a second because I believe we have some guests popping in a moment.
Right. And this is for K&R Part 2, yes?
For K&R Part 2. Yeah.
Do we only have 2 episodes left?
No, we have 3.
There's 3, including K&R Part 2, but 2 after we start this one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're doing good. We're doing really good, guys.
Yeah, it's doing good.
We're doing really good.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Hey, if everybody here, this is a stretch goal because I showed this little knife before. There's something on the other side of this knife, and I'll reveal it $100 from now. Where are we at?
Right now, let's see. Oh wow, we got a big old jump. Let's show this big old jump. Hang on one second.
Starting after this big old jump.
One second.
Wait, George, can you show me that knife? Hold it up closer to camera, because I'm confused. George, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
I mean, they're both knives.
Okay, yes, but I was trying to.
Oh, I know what you mean. You're Dundeeing me.
I was trying to do a Dundee.
You're trying to do me Dundee.
I was trying to do you Dundee. Patrick may do you dirty. Watto will do you Dundee. Okay, how about I try to be more inclusive, though? Let's do a new take. Hey, George.
Yeah.
That is a knife?
Yes, this is a knife. And
this is also a knife.
Oh, we have 2 knives.
See, this is the more inclusive version. We have to update Crocodile Dundee for the new millennium. You don't want to no but. You want to yes and.
Yes, you call that a knife? I also call this a knife. Let's be friends.
Oh, hey, guys.
I additionally call my knife a knife and they can coexist.
Guys, we have to change StreamYards. That's on me. I'm going to put in the private chat. We'll meet you in the next StreamYard. I'm going to end this
See you in the next stream.
Oh, woot, woot. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. We love you. Go Pittsburgh. Go Steelers. We love you. Broadway Cares. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week.
Studio 60 rocks.
See you later. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, be cool. Stay safe.
Still waiting.
Yes! That's nice!
Good night from Big Bear, California, where we are covered with smoke from the idiots who started the gender reveal fight.
Who was the host tonight?
It was Shakira. She's music and host. She was fine. She was good.
Hey, David Chin. Hey, man. Love you. Love you.
Oh!